doing it. Pierce Brown, just like that, we're on.
We started?
Welcome to Gypsy Tales, mate.
You just made $250,000, baby! What are you for?
It was one of those nights, like I said, everything like clicked. Coming into pro ranks from amateurs, I felt like I was one of the favorites to be the next guy, and it didn't pan out as like quick as I thought it would. I had like a couple opportunities to ride the like Star bike like this past year, and I was like, dude, I don't want to. If I get on this bike and then get back on my bike, I'm gonna be so bad. The deal that I got in 22 is actually better than the deal that I signed with. I took a pay cut.
I told you you're gonna win one, mother fucking do it.
Dude, I love Will. Dude, that was the best part of it, giving him a win, dude. I love him like a brother, and I wanted so bad for so long to do that.
This episode is brought to you by Yamaha and the all-new 2024 YZ250F. It's no secret that I've been a big fan of this 250F.
Where would you go right now if you want to win a lights championship?
Star Yamaha. And in 2024, Yamaha has migrated their latest chassis platform to the Quarter Liter King. With the new chassis designed to give you flex in the right areas that allow for maximum feel through the turns without sacrificing stability. There's also an all-new Ergos package designed at slimming down the bike and updates to the rider triangle to improve rider comfort. The Yamaha still has that same exciting engine package that has become a modern icon in the 250 class, rocketing Star Racing to the lion's share of the last decade's titles. Combine this with Yamaha's Bluetooth connectivity for easy mapping and engine monitoring, and you have one of the best production 250s on the market today. To learn more, head to YamahaMotorsports.com or click the link in the description below.
I met a gypsy.
We're doing it. Pierce Brown, just like that, we're on.
Just like that. We started?
Welcome to Gypsy Tales, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to be here.
I think we fully nailed the timing on this. Obviously, first win on the weekend and in studio.
Yeah, it was a big weekend, dude. It's definitely hit. After a couple of days of like sitting on it, it feels good. Feels really good. Definitely overdue, long overdue. But dude, it was just such a good weekend all together for the team, for me. I was on cloud nine for a couple of days.
It's cool. It was really cool to see the behind the scenes of it, right? Like we actually got a really cool clip that Roan's filmed behind the podium. But just even like being in the press conference and you were so in the moment and you let yourself feel the emotions on, like in front of everyone. And I think that was really cool. It was very refreshing to see a guy not put on an act and not like, I don't know, not play the moment down because bro, you've been grinding for that shit your entire life.
Yeah.
And it's been a tough road to get there. Like I think you could have won one of these things before you did, you know, and it's like you probably did too. So to see all of that emotion of like, finally I got it done, you know?
Yeah. No, it was just a long road of highs and lows, and that's just what made it so much sweeter. But it's funny you said that because I was telling somebody, I'm like, dude, I almost feel like once I got to the podium and everything, I didn't feel like it hit me enough. Everybody around me was so stoked. Frankie came up just screaming, yelling, picks me up. And then everybody, like my mechanic, was so stoked. And I was like, dude, like, I've been so focused and locked in all day. It's almost like I couldn't let myself feel it.
Yeah.
Maybe it looked like it, but deep down, I'm like, wow, like what just happened? Because like after Moto 1, that was my breakout ride of the year, like before Moto 2. And I get back to the semi. Frankie's like, good moto, just stay calm. So I was like, all right, I got to lock in. But my chick's like, oh my God, like, let's go. Like, she's stoked. And she's wanting me to be stoked. I'm like, babe, like, I got one more moto. Like,
Yeah, the job's not done.
yeah, job's not done. So I was in that mindset all day that by the time I finally got to let go of that, like, stress and, like, pressure all day, like, I couldn't, you know? Like, it was just like, dude, this is weird. Like, I've never won before. Like, what? You know, it was cool, though.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, right? Like, I I had a feeling Jet was going to get it done when I just saw him. I saw him a couple times through the day, and we were in like the Lawrence thing right before. He had to basically like walk to the truck and get ready, and he walked past, and I gave him a bit of a high five. I was like, "Good luck, brother," and he was fucking so locked in.
Yeah.
And you don't normally see him like that. Like he's pretty loose most of the time, and it's like there is something about that when you can hit that state, and if you were in that state all day, then it's like seems like that's kind of where you need to be to get it done, you know?
Yeah. I noticed that too with Jet, because normally on the podium he's like making jokes, this and that, but he was locked, and I was like, yeah, he's here for a mission, you know? But that was like probably one of the first times, if not the first time, I've like been
Felt
in
that.
that state or felt that state, because honestly I was so frustrated all day in qualifying. I had great segment times. My ideal was like top 3, but I couldn't put a lap together. I was like 7th through 10th, and I'm like, dude, like I'm close, but I was just frustrated about everything, you know? Like it was like the end of the year pressure too. Like I need to get something done. And then before Moto 1, I was putting my gear on, and I was just like, it's really now or never. Like I've been like coming into pro ranks from amateurs, I felt like I was one of the favorites to be the next guy, and it didn't pan out as like quick as I thought it would. And I'll see like all of my other like buddies and just other
Peers,
young
you know,
kids,
like guys you came up with.
come up and kill it, you know? So I'm like, dude,
Who was in your group?
It was me, Joe.
Yep.
Jet raced with us like the very last year. He raced 2019 Futures with me, and then I got hurt before Loretta's, and he ended up winning Loretta's, and then went on to the craziest run we've seen in the last like 10 years.
He did
20
well.
years. Yeah, he did well. Yeah, he did well. But even that, like, for so long I was like comparing myself to Jet, which is like the worst thing you could do, you know? Like he was I mean, he's just like a freak, you know? He's just so good. So I just put a lot of pressure on myself for too many years, and a lot of injuries too. Like that didn't help. Like I think probably too much. Like I think more than people think I do, but I think too much. And I just try to analyze what I'm doing and what isn't going right. And that was like the problem. Like once I just finally let go and stop thinking is when I won, you know?
Yeah.
That was really all it took.
It's a wild thing to be an athlete and to try and figure out your process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't know. It's such an internal thing, and it's such a thing that is so individual for every person. Like you've got great people in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm friends with people that are really in your circle, you know, and like Will, what a fucking guy.
Yeah. Oh,
TK,
yeah.
what a guy.
Yeah.
You know, like you've got some amazing people around you with like unbelievable experience, but that process is so internal.
Yeah.
Like no one can tell you how to lock in.
Exactly.
You know, people can give you ideas and people can give you suggestions and what worked for them, but everyone just ticks that little bit different, you know, and it's like it is such a hard process to just figure out, okay, what do I do on game day that kind of like gets me to that state? And it's like you don't know what you don't know until you find that thing. You're just kind of trying, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, you're just trying. And like that was what was so cool for me, because like I knew internally what I did different on Saturday at Vegas versus what I did all 23 other rounds this year. Like, so for me, like going into next year, I'm like, dude, like I'm stoked. I'm in a good spot. But like you said, like it's something you need to figure out yourself. Like I didn't do a ride different than I was January at the test track on Saturday at Vegas, but it was just bringing that to the race. Like Will, TK, my mechanic, like they could give me everything and tell me all the right stuff to do, but on race day, it's like the loneliest you are, you know? Like, you have to really figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. No, it's. I just think that's part of being an athlete, and there's, dude. I mean, even we were talking about it yesterday. Like Duffy was in here, and he's like, "Man, you should see Nick Romano at the practice track. Just savage, just one of the most savage dudes." And it's like it just doesn't translate right now.
Yeah.
To the track, and there's so many variables that make that so. And then you can, a guy like Deegs, like he's obviously figured it out this year. Like something clicked for him because same rider, same bike, been on the team for a couple of years, but it's like that internal thing that like the place you need to be to go to the line. And dude, for you to win the last race of the year in the way that you did and beat the best guy, and then sign for a new team, go into a new place, like got a long ass off season. Like you're the winner of the last race for the entire off season. And just that, like if you wake up every day and just say that to yourself every day for the off season, like bro, come January, that shit has to make such a huge impact to if you got third or if you got second. Just 100%. A completely different momentum going into this off season.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't have wanted to win my first one at any other time. Like obviously it's been a tough road, but I wouldn't really change it for anything. And winning the last rounds, like you said, I have 3 months to like
sit in that.
Yeah, sit in that and bring that like confidence and momentum like every day of this off season. Whereas if I would have won Charlotte or say like a outdoor or something like that, like the next weekend you're racing again. So like you could have a weekend and then show up on the next Saturday and just like not be the same guy, you know? So it's like, it's hard. You really have to live in the moment with this sport, and it's hard to really like get those wins and just like sit on them for a while. But yeah, winning the last one before a big off season felt great,
Yeah, no, you fully nailed it.
Yeah,
like, it's pretty cool to. It was just the whole thing was cool, and in the press conference you were so grateful and you like really, I don't know, you really like let people see. Like even my wife was just like, dude, I'm a fan of him now. Like it's so cool to see how genuinely happy he is to win, and like that rubbed off on her, and it's like she's not liking people for their riding at all, it's just like basically who's cool to her, exactly. And it's like just showing that and like really feeling what it meant. I think you just embodied, I don't know, like how hard it is to win at this level, and how it feels to actually get that. Like you said, it's like a monkey off your back,
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you to that. I mean, that means a lot. But yeah, it was just one of those things. Like, I've been through so much shit, dude. Like, so much shit, more than like anybody else like knows or could see. I mean, like, even just this year as a whole, if it wasn't for the last race, like that, I don't know, like it wasn't the year I was looking for. I mean, as good as I was riding at the test track and as good as I was doing, like I had a couple good qualifyings, but I can never bring it on race day. And that's just so hard to really, for everything to click for one, and just to let it happen, like I remember this was like January or February when Jorge Prado came over, and we were at the test track. This was one of his first days on Supercross, so it had to been like December or something like that. But I was not having a good day. Like I would just like was frustrated, struggling, and he could tell I was upset. And he was like, "Dude, like, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? Like, you're the fastest guy here. Why are you thinking so much? Just ride, dude. Don't think, just ride." And it was cool because after the race, he DM'd me and he said, "Remember that one day at the test track? Like, I bet you didn't think, just don't think." And I'm like, wow, that's crazy how easy and simple it could actually be, but how hard you make it on yourself, like it was cool.
There's a thing, first of all, Jorge Prado is a fucking great person.
Yeah.
He is a genuinely good dude.
He's a good dude,
That does not surprise me at all. Mm-hmm. And I think, I think there's a real thing, and I've seen it with a bunch of people, and I've spoken about it on here a bunch of times. Unfortunately, I always use Christian Craig as my example of this. Best dude ever.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see with him, and I've seen it working on teams, and then you see it with just athletes in general. And I feel like I do this sometimes myself in different ways, but I feel like when you have expectations for yourself and you know other people have expectations for you and you don't reach those expectations, you want to make it visible to the people that have those same expectations that you're not okay with where you're at and you know that you can do better. And it's like there's a vibe that you can put out and there's a way of communicating that to people around you. Because if you go out and you get fifth and it's not what you expect and it's not what other people expect and you're like light and free and easy, people look at you and you're like, hey bro, like, aren't you pissed?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't you be mad that you suck? And that's what you think people expect of you. And so you can start to act like outwardly act in the way that explains that I'm not okay with the level that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So it's like this subtle communication thing that people try and do to let people know that I know I suck and I'm not okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But bro, that starts a whole fucking chain
that is the
of events.
worst thing you could do. Like, that's how I've been my whole life. Like, obviously, when you travel 3,000 miles in a car with your parents and then you don't do good that weekend, like that drive home is, dude, it is hell. Like,
and you want to let your dad know that you're bummed.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's how I thought I needed to be when I went pro, and I would ride that emotional roller coaster. And it's just like I said, the worst thing you could do. Like, as I'm getting older, I realize the more, obviously, like the best mindset you could be in is just even kill. Like, if you go win, great. If you get 10th, we'll get him next race. But there's always next race. That's what Coop's so good at, I think. So I think, like the more, or like the older I get, the more I'm growing and like learning that side of it. And it's like funny looking back. I'm like, dude, I've put so much like stress, unneeded stress on myself for so long. And like, it could really be as simple as like, oh, well, we'll just get him next weekend. But like you said, you think everybody around you is so disappointed and they want you to be like down with them, or not down with them, but just like, you know what I'm trying to say, like upset. So yeah, it makes it hard. I mean, that's how the sport is though. Like, everybody is so worried about what everybody else thinks. And I think that's life in general, but it's just
I was going to say, bro, I think that's life.
Yeah.
It's a process that I think everybody goes through.
Yeah.
You know, and the last clear example of that I have, this is like a exact example of it.
Yeah.
The last time I remember doing it, Jason Anderson podcast at the start of this year, his camera went out like 20 minutes or 30 minutes ago.
No.
And bro, that was fully on me. I was in the studio by myself, completely my fault. I fucked it up.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone to Rones for like 20, just bashing myself, you know, and I was doing it and I realized that I was doing it and I went, okay, you're just trying to let everyone else know that you fucked up and that you feel bad. And there's a part of it too where it's like, I don't want to come across like that's okay. Because then if they do it, what kind of example am I set, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a very, very fine balance. And I think the way that I guess I rationalize it in my head, or I try and think about it, is like there's a point of diminishing returns. So like there's a point where you need to communicate with people that I'm not cool with this performance, I'm going to keep grinding. But then there's a point where that goes so far that it actually just goes against the big picture goal, which is doing better that next weekend, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a thing in life, and some people don't have it.
Yeah.
Some people, they just don't deal with shit that way.
Yeah.
Other people, probably people that overthink, like you admitted to.
Yeah.
That's probably just something that comes along with it, you know?
Yeah. And like some people that seem so nonchalant about everything, like kind of pisses you off, dude. You know, like, you know, if they're not bummed and you are, it's like, dude, like, come on. But it's, I don't know. It's one of those things. I remember, like, I think it was my rookie year. Somebody told me this, and I like remember it to this day. They said, like, when you find yourself in a hole, don't keep digging. And basically, like, when you get bummed or down on yourself, you don't want to make yourself feel worse. That's the worst thing for you. Like, you got to just dig yourself out of it, or not dig out of it, but find a way to get out of it, you know? Like,
yeah. And people, like, I think athletes have a hard time maybe sometimes realizing like how selfish they need to be.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds so like cliche and fucking Instagram quote, but it's like when you're an athlete, you have to be insanely selfish about your own space, and everything's about performing the best on the weekend. Yeah. And it's like, you know, obviously within reason, like you can't be a psychopath about it. I know. But it's like there's this, you get a chance to shape your world and shape everything around this like one goal of doing well, you know, and it's like part of that is just your headspace and, you know, protecting like, okay, this is the headspace that I need to be in. And then, you know, to be crazy down on yourself, to be visible to other people is like, it's really not, that's not for you. That's for other people. Yeah. And it's like, everyone wants you to be selfish. Like these people want you to win. They want, so whatever you need to do that, like take that liberty.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you could be the one in the group of 10 to be okay with a loss and bring the rest of the group up, that's honestly that's probably what they need, but they didn't know they needed, you know? Like I've kind of been like that my whole life though. Like or not been like that, but I've realized I need to be more selfish, but it's hard for me because like, obviously I have great parents. They raised me like great, but, I'm too like, I worry about everybody when I don't need to. Like on race day, if my buddies are coming and like they need a ticket and then they're at the will call tent and they don't have like bands, I'm like, well, all right, like let me hop on the phone. But it's like, no, I need to just say like, fuck that, lock in and just worry about yourself. But there's also a time and place for it too. Like you could, like you're saying, be a complete psychopath. And like,
but a lot of psychopaths win. Yeah. Kobe Bryant was a psychopath. Michael Jordan was a psychopath. Yeah. Like there's just a place that you need to, or like maybe not need, but there's just a place some people go and it's like it's very productive for winning races or winning basketball games or you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like finding that balance. But I think, you're a normal person 6 days of the week. Yeah. And then it's like that one fucking day. It's like, this is my day. This is my world. Yeah. If you want to be around, these are the rules. Yeah. It's like, it's just boundaries, you know, like you just set boundaries for the people around you and for yourself. Know what it takes for you to get the best out of yourself. And then again, it's like, I think people around you would be more okay with it than what you'd expect, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's funny because I'll like have run-ins with my chick sometimes. Like I'll want salmon the night before I ride and she wants this Alfredo pasta and I'm like, no, I can't eat that. Like I want salmon. She's like, well, I don't like salmon. I'm like, well, like, all right, like deal with it. I'm sorry. But like that, I don't know, that type of shit. It's funny, but it just like, it's part of it that, I don't know, like she's kind of new to it. So she doesn't, maybe she does, but she doesn't understand as much as I think she does. But I don't know. It's, like you said, you have to have everybody on board, you know, like everybody has to be understanding of your goal. And if they're not, like, that's kind of a sign that you need to kind of, you know, find someone else, you know? Yeah.
So what could you, when you look back at Saturday, like what did feel different? Like, can you kind of, you think you can like bottle that down to the space that you're in to get that done? Because it was just a crazy good performance. Yeah. Like first moto did not let Deegan get away, which he has done all year. crazy like fast track and, you know, that extremely technical. Second moto, make an incredible pass on master pool and just do your thing, you know? So it's like, that was a wild performance. And have you thought about like what the ingredients were?
Yeah, it was a lot of things. Like a lot of it was second moto in Texas when I fell first lap and I came back to fifth. I looked at segment times and lap times of the race, and
you were like, "Oh, I'm him."
I was like, "Dude, I could win one of these. Like, give me a start, and I could win one of these." Like I was telling Weege on Track Walk in Vegas, I'm like, I haven't felt like I could win one of these in a while, but I have a feeling about tonight. You know, like it's gonna be a good day, and yeah, like I said, I was expecting that into practice, and I was upset that I was 7th to 10th range in practice when that's kind of been my like sweet spot all year. So in a normal headspace, I would have been like, all right, whatever. But I don't know, something inside me was like, dude, this is pretty much my last shot to win this year. Or is my last shot to win this year. Like I need to make it happen. And Moto 1, I like, yeah, like you said, I started second. And he got away from me a little bit. Then I pulled it back in like 4 laps to go. And like first couple laps of Moto 2 or Moto 1, I was like, all right, like I'll just stay here. And I've tied like on my ass. And I'm like, all right, I actually need to go. Like, and when I started going, I'm like, dude, I feel good. Like I think I'm catching him, you know? Like I had to kind of get comfortable being out front when I haven't been out front all year or for a couple years. So coming into Moto 2, I like I said, I was so locked in, and everybody or my chick was like, "Oh, like let's go." Like I was like, "No, like relax. I need to lock in." And to be honest with you, like the only thing I changed was like those doubts that you get in your head. Like everybody has that inner voice, and the only thing I changed was I was like, every time I felt that doubt, I was like, "Nope, we're gonna have a good night." Like, nope. That's all I told myself. And then get to the gate, same thing. Like, nope, we're going to have a good night. And then the gate drops, and I'm like, okay, like, it's time to go. But if you watch the race, it was crazy because I started behind Deacon, and then I passed him first lap before the finish, like those S turns.
Yeah.
And, yeah, dude, it was just such a crazy race. Like, I found my spots to pass. Like, I passed Ty where I passed Ainsty. Like,
yeah,
third
you set
lap.
that up good, too.
Yeah. And then
that was like a fairground pass, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Felt like a Utah race. Yeah, I was back home.
yeah, I was like, he's done that before in a local race.
Yeah. But no, I just had my spots, and I just, felt great. But it was, like I said, one of those things, like I wasn't riding over my head. Like I've done those same laps of the test track. I just haven't brought that to a race yet, you know?
Yeah, and that's been the thing that everyone has ever told me is that you're incredibly fast. Like you should see how fast this dude is. And it's just to get that to translate, whatever the recipe is, just hadn't happened yet, you know? And that must be so frustrating to know how fast you can go at the test track.
Dude, it is. Like I'll see the stats, like coming into SuperMotocross. This is so funny, but the stat says Pierce Brown, the best average finish all year for not having a win, or like the first best guy to not have a win yet, or something like that. And I was like, that's such a backhanded compliment, dude. Like that's like been me my whole life, you know? Like he's got speed, but he just either he crashes or doesn't get a good start or this and that. And yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm like, dude, I'm tired of like people talking like this because that's not who I am. I just need to just pull it together, you know? And you could kind of get in a rut, like, not going to be honest, or not going to lie, like the whole outdoor season, I was kind of in a rut. Like I was trying so hard to get out of that bubble, 7 to 10 bubble, and like get into the 5th and place, but I just couldn't do. Those guys were going so fast. And like doing that weekend to weekend and seeing how fast and how far off you are, I'm like, dude, like, yeah, I want a podium. Yeah, I want to win, but I'm a realist. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can, you know, like right now it's not looking great. So it's just tough. It's a tough spot to be in. And when you're out there like racing not to win, it's like the worst place you could be, you know, like you're just wasting gas.
Yeah. And you really can't fake that feeling of
Yeah.
that. Oh, I can actually win one of these.
Well, some
things.
people can. Some people could fake confidence, but I've never been one to do it. I need to actually prove to myself, like I need to be that guy to know that I am that guy. But if I'm not, I'm like, dude, like I said, I just think about too much shit. I'm like, well, lap time say this, and I don't know. Like it's just, but in reality, I don't think I was as far off as I was. I just started with like the mid-pack group, and I never got out of that group. So you're kind of,
and it just gets so thick back
Yeah,
there. Like
yeah.
I wish the broadcast would do a better job of showing some of those battles.
dude, because
it's fucked up.
it is
bro.
a dog fight,
Great,
dude.
like 4 wide every
I've
corner
had
for 30
some
minutes.
crazy battles this year. It
Who
is
was
crazy.
the gnarliest guy? Like, I'm sure you just found yourself with the same dudes.
Dude, to be honest, like every time I'm around Nick, my buddy Nick Romano, dude, him and Ryder too. Like, it's funny because like we're boys off the track, but they see me come up and they're just, dude, they drop the hammer. I remember Paula 1, Moto 2, I'm coming from the back, and Ryder's fading bad, dude. He just waves by Smitty and a couple other guys, and I get on him and he starts barking. And I'm like, dude, like I'm red line trying to get to him and I can't. And then he ends up getting 9th, I'm 10th or something like that. After the moto, I'm like, dude, what are you doing, dude? Like, come on, just like, let me by. Like, I know you're fading. Like, why am I the person that gets you? Like, but no. And,
That's because you're on the same bike,
yeah,
under the same
bike.
truck.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'll always be, no matter like if it's 8th or if I'm having a race like 3rd to 4th, like I'm by Jalik. It's so funny. It's so funny. Like
And he races hard.
yeah,
too.
he races hard. And most of the time I'm trying to pass him and he's so hard to pass. But like, yeah, it's funny because we had, like everybody knows, we had a run in at Detroit, like round 1.
Yeah.
And that was a complete misjudgment call by me. Like I was like, he's going to check up, but he didn't. And then, yeah, it looked bad.
Can you find that, Rones? I don't remember. I kind of remember that. Was it was it a left-hander?
Yeah, it was a left-hander.
And you just like land and run and yeah. I think.
Yeah. No, I made a couple passes there, and every time I like showed someone a wheel, they let up, but he never checks
you put
up.
him way over the berm,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, here we go. We found it.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Bang.
So that was like first race of the year, and I like in the moment I feel terrible, but I know like he's gonna freaking kill me, dude. So I didn't want to like go up and talk to him. I haven't said a word to him all year. Like I was, yeah. But we're battling every single weekend for like the same spot, and I'm like, dude, like I know he remembers that. So I gotta watch the next corner if I do get by him, you know. But
to be fair though, I feel like he had a bit of room. Like you pivoted. You did touch him though, right?
yeah, he leaned into me, and when he leaned,
Yeah.
it like bounced off. But
Yeah. I feel like that's a lot of what happens when guys
Yeah.
are anticipating getting like a big hit
Yeah.
and then they kind of like lean down.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like that's what happened.
Yeah. And part of it is I think like our bikes are so quiet. Like I'll talk to Levi or anybody that I race with, and if I'm behind them or like have a battle with them, they're like, dude, I didn't even hear you. Like, what are you talking about? But PC and Star bikes are so loud. And I mean, Triumphs are pretty loud too. They're similar to our bikes. But yeah, dude, if you're in a battle, that's the thing with like the KTM group. Like you cannot hear our bikes, at least 250s. Like you have to hit Limmy on the clutch to like,
Let them know.
yeah, let them know. Yeah. So even lappers too, like it's so hard to like get them out of the way when there's a Star bike. And if you hear Star bike, dude, it's instinct. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like somebody
It's
coming.
like ripping a hole in the universe.
Yeah, I know.
right behind you.
It's like, if it's behind you, it's like the scariest sound ever, dude.
Dude, at Charlotte, Jet and Eli were way out in front.
Yeah.
And on the longer tracks, you don't get the same like kind of echo through the stadium that you do in a Supercross race. And you could just not hear Jet.
Yeah.
When Eli's either behind him or in front of
Yeah.
him. Barely hear him at all. All you can hear is, roar!
Yeah, I know. With a paddle tire too, on the worst track of the year. It don't make sense to me.
Just
Like,
letting it eat.
Yeah, for how he rides, I would think that he struggles on hard pack, but he comes alive on that shit, dude. He gets like faster, but it don't make sense because, like I said, I think he ran a paddle tire at Dallas too.
Both motos.
Yeah, both motos, and
Dallas was not cool.
Dallas was so squirrely, dude. That there was a 353 before the finish, and into that corner, like
Yep.
into that corner, it's like a kind of high speed right 90. You're just sliding the whole way, and then you want to seat bounce to get over 353, but it's so slick that like you're just getting wheel spin the whole time. So I'm surprised there wasn't a big one there, dude. It was terrifying every single lap. Like I'm just sliding and then like sitting into it, hoping I don't get wheel spin. Yeah, it was
Man,
gnarly.
the 450s when they were going past that section.
Yeah.
Can you find one of those clips of like, I remember you got a clip of Chase. It'll be in the selects of him before it. And it's just like, he's out front and just going, bop. And you're like, brother,
Yeah,
you have no fucking traction
I know.
at all.
I know.
It was crazy to watch.
And that was part of why I like made so many passes there, because I kind of knew how to ride that shit. I was just like quarter throttle, like the whole
That's
corner.
real
I
test
have
track
to get into the
vibes.
rut first, and then I'm like barely on the gas. But if you start gas early, dude, you're just sliding it up. There were so many guys in that rhythm that like slid up the face and then like shot off the track, and I was like, all right,
And then if
scoot
you
another
landed at
position.
all sideways,
dude.
bro, that landing was just like chunked out. Yeah, the rhythm before this.
Yeah.
Maybe in the set, like the second moto, like at the end, you could really hear that, that you just couldn't touch the throttle. And all the guys were like that.
Dude, that dirt was so weird because I thought it was going to be so good. Like,
I don't know.
free practice on Friday. The dirt looked so good when we were walking the track.
I know.
And then get on the track. I'm like, dude, what is happening? There's no traction.
Yeah, it was wild, man. I couldn't believe just how little throttle he was able to use. And it's like, they're factory tires too. It's not like there's some off-the-shelf shit that's been sitting there for a while.
I know. Just look at that corner, dude.
Oh,
That face.
so crazy, dude.
Jesus. Yeah, and most
Here
of the
it
time
is.
at the oh shit.
Look at how much that slid up the thing. That is crazy.
He wasn't even on the gas.
No.
But most time at the test tracks, when it gets like that, there's like at least a rubber path from your tire that like could at least help traction, you know? But for some reason, like we just kept on like digging lower and lower. You could kind of see it right there. But where you needed it, there was nothing at all.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I don't think they can use that dirt next year.
No.
I think they'd have to, but it looks so good.
Yeah, I know.
It's and it was also 100 degrees. The
Yeah,
entire.
I know. You really couldn't.
Could you feel that heat much there?
Yeah,
It was
brutal.
tough. Yeah.
It was brutal. Dude, for me, the hottest race was Ironman. And it wasn't, like temperature-wise, it wasn't that hot. But I don't know if it was the humidity, but it was so hot, dude. I cooked myself there. There in Southwick were probably the two hardest for me. And I crashed out in Moto 2 too. So I was like, still just that much, like that gas from the first moto, you know? Like, like I use as much energy in the first moto as I did all two motos all year long, you know?
Yeah, some of those outdoor races, man,
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't get how you can do it.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah, I know. I watch Chase and like Jed and those guys, and like they come out first up in Moto 2 ripping. And most of the time I'm like still trying to like catch my breath from Moto 1, dude. So it takes me till like 15 to kind of break through that like wall and then start charging again. But they're so explosive, so quick, and it just lasts all moto. It doesn't make sense, dude.
Yeah, this year in the 450 class, especially when Hunter and Jet were both in there, I feel like those two, the way that they work together, they kind of like changed the game a bit in terms of how I guess both motos were run, but especially second motos, you know, and I feel like Jet uses Hunter as a, you know, in cycling, you almost get like a bit of a peloton. You have like the guy that protects the other. I know that's not what Hunter's trying to do, but that's how Jet uses him.
Yeah,
and
it's like Cal and Ricky Bobby, you know?
Yep. And he just keeps Sexton kind of there. And then as soon as he'll let Hunter stay in front of him,
Yeah.
and then until someone comes up behind him, and then he'll go, and then he'll just maintain right in front of Hunter, and then if someone passes Hunter, then he'll start to put the charge on, and it's like it's like he runs up the clock.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, that's kind of how it is. I've noticed that it's changed in the 250 class too.
Really?
With Jet and Hunter both being out, we kind of like approach the races and at least qualifying like differently, because like everybody always wants to do what whoever's winning is doing. So when it's Jet and Hunter, like they ride so effortlessly, and everybody's trying to change their like technique and this and that and ride more like efficient, and then Deegan comes in and starts just like lighting the world on fire in a year, and everybody's like, wow, like we could actually do that, like we could ride that way.
Yeah, we can send it together.
Yeah, I know, and that's what everybody's doing now. So
really,
yeah.
So you think Deegs has changed the way the 250
Yeah,
boys?
I think so. Yeah, at least just like intensity wise, because Jet and Hunter, they were really good at starting. I don't want to say slower because it's not like that, but Jet really like manages the race. You know, even watching, dude, all like the SMX races, like he'll start like third, fourth, and then just like chill, and then just start picking off guys. And that's what he was doing in the 250 class. But now, the 250 class is just balls to the wall the first 10, 15 minutes. And then once you're there, you're there. You know, nobody goes forward, nobody goes back. But it's completely different now.
That's crazy to hear that. Like it's pretty hard to see that as a fan.
Yeah.
But to like know that that's what's going on, you're like, damn.
Yeah, I know. It's well, because I'll catch myself doing it sometimes, like watching Jet and be like, well, I'm doing this in this corner, like he's not putting his leg out, I could stand longer. But dude, bike setup is completely different. Like it's impossible to really like watch
For
Jet
sure.
and then be like, oh, I'm gonna do that. But everybody does it. Like same with like Deegan too. Like if at least I do, I don't know if the rest of the class does, but I study a lot, and like if he's doing this or that in a rhythm or a corner and he's better, like I'm like, okay, well I could charge harder in here. I could like, but you kind of just have to figure out what works for you, you know? Like if it
For sure.
if it works for you, then like don't change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know?
Yeah, and I think just bike setup's huge.
Yeah.
Like you've only ridden the one manufacturer
Yeah.
your entire life, your entire pro career.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to look at what someone's doing on a Yamaha or a Honda compared to you, I mean, you just don't know the kind of traction that they've got available or the kind of feel that they've got with the front or the rear. And it's like, yeah, I feel like you could probably cook yourself really trying to go like apples to apples when you're on a completely different bike, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like at least recent years, the only guy on Austrian brands were to like watch and learn from was like RJ. But RJ, dude, he
Don't
just,
copy RJ.
like how do you ride like that? It
He's
goes
the-
so fast.
he's
It
the
don't
best,
make sense.
but
you
don't
know?
copy RJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but no, but now I think Chase coming on helped the KTM brands a lot because they changed a lot of like what they've stuck to for so many years. You know, they kind of looked outside of the box and were like, okay, well, we could do this. And like, that's what I did this year with my bike. I went to a stock fork all of outdoors. And that's,
As in air fork?
yeah, that's the best fork I've
Really?
ridden since I was like amateur. Like, because all pro career, or at least the first couple years of my pro career, I'm like, dude, give me my amateur forks, 2019. Like, those were sick. And like, well, we can't do that. Like, we don't have those anymore. Like, I ran factory connection too, so that was a conflict. And it was, yeah, like, it could never happen. And then this year, everybody got rid of the 52 millimeter forks, and now there's a handful of guys running air, handful of guys still on spring, so you can kind of do whatever works for you. And when I first got in the air fork, I'm like, dude, like I'm back. Like this is sick. But it's as simple as just kind of trusting like the R&D process, you know, like I don't know, a lot of the manufacturers do so much R&D to stiffen the bike, and then right when they get it, they just throw X trigs and like so much other shit to make it even stiffer. And it's like, whoa, like we did this, we made like this much of a gap just through R&D. Like we should try stock stuff more and see if it, or I shouldn't say more, but at least like run it piece by piece and see what works best and what doesn't, you know?
I think that it's crazy that you have a manufacturer like KTM that can make such a good stock motorcycle. All of them do.
Yeah.
And then you don't ever even get to ride it.
Yeah.
Ever.
I know.
It's like, why don't we start with that? Go, hey, we're just going to go to Parlour, pump out some laps. We got literally everything. You could build this thing into a race bike today. But just start with this and see what you think. And then have a reference, have a base. And then go, okay, we'll put on some clamps. And you can just be like, no, that ain't it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put on engine mounts. Oh, I like those. That's
Yeah.
good. And just slowly, that process might, I don't know, take a couple weeks. But it's like, these teams will go, no, this is our package. This is our race bike. And it's like, that might be shit.
Yeah, I know. Like,
And no one's ever going to know. They're just going to get on that and be like, I don't like it. And you just start back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. It's like, just start with the fucking stock.
Yeah, I know.
It's like the softest piece of clay and then put it in an oven and make it hard, you know?
yeah, yeah. Because you could chase your tail for a whole season and the whole issue might not be something that major. It could be a linkage or it could be clamps or forks or whatever. Like that, like little stuff makes such a difference at the level we're at. So yeah, I know a lot of the teams are getting like smarter with it, and there's so many good test riders now that could do that and go through that process. But for us, it's hard because we get a new bike and we kind of want to just ride it. Like we have 2-3 weeks after the last SMX until we start back riding again. So it's like, well, that gives us 11 to 12 weeks before A1. I want to make all those count. I don't want to be like dealing with or like just
The
testing,
testing and,
like that stuff. So there's both sides of it, and it's hard to really manage and like, I don't know. But like I said, I know Honda as Trey, he's really good, and then Mo rides for KTM, and even like Hansen, dude, he's still nasty. So like, yeah, it's cool having those type of guys that could kind of like pick and piece everything together.
Yeah. Hanny's still rips, eh?
Yeah.
He has so much style.
Dude, he's so sick.
I wish he'd do more. I talked to him a bit, and you got to remember, like, do you remember him when he was pro?
Yeah.
Bentleys, on the hills, full MTV,
I
full
know.
LA. Like, he was, like, actually famous.
I know, dude. He was so sick. I forget that show he was on, but it was
He was on The Hills.
The Hills. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, dude. It's crazy. Like, nobody does that now, you know?
No.
Like, if they even thought about it, they just get their hand slapped and be like, no, like, you're doing this. You got to follow this and this and this. And it's just like, dude, let's just have some fun. Like, I was with a couple of my buddies the other night, and we were watching, have you ever seen the movie Relish?
Nah.
It's an old Thor movie. It was like from 03 to 05.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on
that
YouTube. Dude, it's so funny how it's filmed. It's like, it's on a VCR TV, right? And there's a phone videoing it. So it's like the phone. But dude, it's so sick. But yeah,
Relish.
But some of the
just
stuff they
type
used to do.
YouTube. Oh, yeah.
Grant Langston was in it. It was like MC2, like all those guys.
Type in Thor
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Thor. Yeah. Dude, it was so sick though. I think it's on Fuel TV.
Just go to
03.
YouTube and just type. Oh no, watch the trailer. Let's just watch the trailer. That works. And then we won't get striked on YouTube. Turn the music on a bit. Oh, what a track!
I know.
I don't know that I ever saw this. Dude, how nasty was that bike?
Such a good movie.
Love that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was in Australia.
Yeah, he was doing
Was that in Oz? Yeah.
Yeah.
That looked like an Aussie Supercross. That's such a wild era, bro.
I know. Like everybody talks about how like 90s was like the best era. Like I wish I grew up in the 90s, but early 2000s, dude, it was
For
sick.
real,
It
man.
was sick.
Yeah, dude, for sure. What year were you born?
I was born in 02.
02. Oh,
Yeah.
same as Ryan's. Yeah, that was this was like peak me in motocross.
Yeah.
This was when I was like 15, 16, racing a 250F.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's so
just living,
sick.
riding every single day.
That's so sick.
Yeah, those guys had a lot of fun back then.
Yeah, they
it's
just hit Beaumont, Ritchie, all those places.
yeah, you're able to take your bike wherever you wanted.
Yeah,
Now
I
you
know.
guys are just like lock and key.
I know.
Just show up to work.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions. Get on your bike. Do your laps.
Yeah. I went to I actually was able to go to Beaumont like winter in 2023, so last year. And it was fun, dude. So my mechanic had to come with me, but he drove the box or the Sprinter with me to Beaumont. We met all my boys and dude, we had a day. I actually had a couple of days there because there was a turn track that we found. It was like
Yep.
3 minutes long. It was like, dude, Unadil. It was so sick. But like half a mile from it was all the jumps that you see on those type of movies, you know? So like I would just go like sesh those with like the boys. But like I posted a couple videos and I just got so much backlash for it.
Really?
Yeah, just like comments and just like
Oh,
at
like
least,
people commenting on the video being like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
like, dude, you're out there getting fifth. Like, go train. I'm like, dude, like I'm doing the work. Like, let me have some fun, you know?
That sucks.
Yeah.
You remember you remember the year Roxon was out there doing a bunch of
Yeah.
riding?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, bring back Beaumont.
Exactly.
Bring back Ritchie Canyon.
Bring back that. Yeah. I think, yeah, Kenny brought like that side of it back a little bit, but everybody else was just too scared to kind of. But part of it is everybody's out of California too. So, I mean, the guys that would, you know, want to like venture out of like the, I don't know, like
bubble.
Yeah, the bubble. They can't because they're in Claremont, Florida. Like, what do you do there, you know?
Yeah, there's no hills there.
Yeah. Actually, dude, there was this was a funny story, but right when COVID hit, I was at Alden Baker's and they told us, like, KTM told us, like, we can't ride. Like, they don't know how we're going to get parts. Like, we don't know how long we're going to be in lockdown. And we were trying to figure out what to do. And Jason or Dino, I can't remember who it was, but they got a hold of Tom Parsons.
That's right. You guys
Yeah.
all hit the ramps and stuff at
Yeah,
Parsons'
yeah.
place.
Yeah, so my bike was at Alden's, and I called him up. I was like, "Hey, Alden, so my buddy has a corner track. I want to just, you know, I want to stay warm, do some laps. Can I go pick it up?" He's like, "Yeah, no worries." Go and pick the bike up, and then we like road trip to. It's right by Gatorback.
Yeah.
We road tripped there, and then, yeah, dude, had such a day. It was so much fun. It was unreal. But like nobody like does that anymore, you know? Like it was something I was kind of even like scared to post. Yeah, I think there was a video of it.
Yeah, Team Fried posted it. They were not scared.
Yeah, they were not scared.
How long did you spend at Alden's?
I was there for like a whole winter and then back in California for like 3 weeks and then went back out to Florida for like supposed to be 2 weeks and then we just got stuck there. I stayed there like the rest of the year or until September because I tore my ACL that year, so I just got surgery in California and then but no, I was there for a while. I think it's the full movie Lost Files.
Oh,
It's
that's
the
what
last
it is.
segment.
Yeah. We're gonna have to
So
clear.
fun.
We're gonna have to clear copyright with Ando.
Yeah.
I think he'll be cool.
Yeah.
I think last segment. Yeah, there it is.
Dude, I forget this dude's name, but he was doing the 551. This guy was such a sicko. He was such a sicko.
Would you do that?
No, so it's kind of cool because the backside of that was a landing, so it was like a spine. I jumped the spine and I felt it out a little bit, but I was like, dude, there's no way I could do this. You see that half pipe or quarter pipe in person, and like it's the scariest thing ever.
Have you ever seen him do it at X Games and shit? Like, have you ever been there and watched it?
I haven't watched it in person, dude. In
Brother.
person,
It's
That'd be
fucking
insane.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you standing behind the ramp
oh, dude,
is crazy.
I bet.
And you watch you just see under it looks like they're about to do the world's
Yeah.
biggest backflip.
Yeah.
They just fucking send it, man.
Dude, like, Axel has it down. Like him and Berryman, they do it the cleanest, I feel like. But
Yeah.
Raha just goes the biggest. Like he
Sense.
doesn't care. He just like, I swear he hits the ramp with no plan and then gets to the top and it's like, all right, I'll turn the bike now, you know? Like it's insane. He's like, yeah, like I said, just crazy.
But yeah, watching that at X Games this year and just how hard they hit the ramp.
Oh yeah.
Just everything.
Oh,
and you're just
dude.
like, bro,
I know.
I haven't hit the vet track
450s
that
too.
hard.
Yeah,
at
just
Pala.
like I know. It's insane. Where was X Games this year?
Ventura.
Oh, okay, so it was close.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They're bringing it back. X Games is coming back, I think.
Yeah, that's sick.
But yeah, the quarter's just no joke, dude.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I can imagine, dude. I don't think there's enough money in the world to pay me to do the quarter pipe.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah. I mean, guys do it. I guess it's just a feeling that
Yeah.
you got to get going. But yeah, it's just a long way up and it's a long way down.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
once you leave the ramp, you just don't have much control. You know.
No.
How good's Dino as a free rider too, eh?
Yeah, he's got some style.
So did you grow up doing much like when it came to the jump, free ride sort of shit?
No, there's really nothing like out
'Cause
there
you're
in
in-
Utah.
Yeah, you're
Like,
from Utah, eh?
Winters are cold, it's snowy, so like I'd actually drive to California like on the weekends. Like my dad would check me out of school on like a Thursday, and then we drive up, race the series called Gold Cup. And sometimes, dude, like if you race at like Paris, like we're night racing until like 11 on a Saturday or even Sunday. And then from there, we'll get done at like, say like 11 p.m. on a Sunday. My dad would drive me all the way home straight to Utah. And then sometimes he would drop me off from like the drive straight to school, you know, like I just wake up in the truck and go to school, you know, like nothing, I don't know. Like it was just normal to me, you know.
Moto dads are gnarly as fuck, bro.
It's crazy, dude. Thinking about some of the stuff that my dad and my parents did, like for me, like growing up and like kind of figuring out like the world, you know, I'm like, dude, how did they make that happen? You know, like my dad, like had a full-time job running his own business and he's out like driving me to the middle of the desert. And it was funny. What he would do is he would just find a patch of grass, drive the truck around it, make a lap with his truck. And then I'd have to follow like the track until I actually made one with like my 65, you know? So like that was all we did, you know? It was crazy. But yeah, it's like I said, wild to think about. Makes you appreciate it and them like a lot, you know?
Yeah, and even if you don't make it to the level that you did, right? Like, so we grew up racing all over Australia. And where we grew up was like 20 hours away from the a big race. Everything was just like these local races in a small town. And there was a group of us, like Todd Waters, Jackson Richardson, Wade Hunter, Mitch Evans, Wilson Todd.
Oh wow!
We had like me and my brother were like the only ones that didn't go pro from our group. But we had like this group, and yeah, we would just same shit. Like Dad would finish 5 o'clock on a Friday, and then just drive all through the night, pull up for practice. He'd sleep while we did practice,
crazy.
race, and then drive all the way home back to school. And I mean, you think back now, you're like, dude, that's a lot.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think about like the relationship that I have with my dad and what it did for us as kids and the trouble that it keeps you out of. And I think some people kind of like look down on how much sacrifice parents make sometimes for their kids if they don't make it. But it's like, man, I wouldn't change those experiences with my family. Like it made us so close as a group, and closer than what you would say like a normal family would go through.
Yeah, no, I think what you gain from doing that and experiencing that, like with your mom and dad, like no other kid's gonna go through that. It's like you said, you can't put a price on it, and it's hard when the parents make like the kids feel guilty about it if they don't make it. Like that's just like shitty. But I don't know. It's wild. Nobody really understands kind of like the trajectory of like a moto kid. You know, obviously you have to be super close to your parents because you're driving across the country 4 or 5 times a year to race dirt bikes, and then you end up getting a factory ride. With me, I was 17 when I went pro, moved to California, moved in with my buddy, and then I just kind of had to figure it out. Like I didn't have my parents there. Like wasn't like they sent me off to college and came like and went every other week. Like it was just me and my buddy kind of figuring out like California. And it's I don't want to say a scary place to be in, but dude, you could get in some bad stuff if you don't have enough guidance. Luckily I had some great people around me and I was raised right. So I didn't have to worry about it, but like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot you could do at like that age in California, you know? It's
man, and there's a lot of riders that have got sucked into that hole.
Yeah.
Even Dunge
Yeah.
will tell you, he's like, bro, when I went to California, it blew my mind. And he's like the most straighty 180 dude that you could ever imagine. You think like, how much trouble could Ryan Dungey get himself in? You know?
I know. Like, what's he doing?
But it's like, even if he even admits that it's like a gnarly place to be.
Yeah. I will say, dude, that was like, those were probably one of the funnest years or some of the funnest years of my life. Like I remember, because I was at MTF for a while too, from like 14 to 17. And those were like the kind of growing years for me. And a kid coming from Utah, like I had pretty strict parents. Like I didn't know much about like the outside world. And then I get to MTF. And I'm like,
Utah's a weird state too,
it
man.
is,
like all the Mormon stuff
dude.
that like the rules around,
Yeah.
you know, drinking on Sundays. It's like, it's a very mellow, sheltered
Yeah,
place.
it's its own bubble, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's not so much like, I don't know, like Mormonism, like just Utah in general, dude. Everybody,
it leaks into the whole state.
yeah, everybody has no idea there's another world out there. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But no, like going to MTF and seeing, like just kids my age just living, having fun, going. I don't know. For me, what was funny, the biggest, I don't know, like wake up call for me was like, Dylan Walsh. Do you know who Dylan Walsh is?
Yeah, I do.
He was there when I was there.
Oh fuck, he's
Dude,
loose.
he was a
He's
sicko.
loose.
He was loose. Yeah, but I remember them like asking me to like go to lunch, and it was literally like out of a movie. I was like, yeah, okay. Then I hop in the car, and it's like 7 of us packed into this like F-150, and then we're just like bumping music on the way to like dinner, and I'm like, dude, this is so sick. Like, what? I've never been in a car without my mom before, you know? Like, that was wild for me. And then I was thinking those years were gonna be my like favorite or like best, and then come to California, and it's me, Romano, Levi, and then my buddy Jarrett Fry, my buddy Blake, like a sick group of us that just did whatever we wanted to do, you know, like for
first time having a bit of money.
Yeah.
First time having some freedom.
Yeah, I know. Like the beach is an hour away. Like, let's go see what we could get into there. You know, like we were doing some dumb shit, but it was fun. It was really fun. I remember listening to your pod with Levi, and he was like, yeah, like those were good years, but if we didn't like break it off then, like we would not be in a good spot, dude. Yeah. Like,
I'm glad we reeled it in when we did.
Oh yeah. When everybody went east, I kind of had to like lock in, you know, like I was like, okay, well, like I can't go over to Blake's to hang out after riding. I got to go do a spin, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely an acceptable amount of fuckery that can take place before it. Diminishing returns, right?
Yeah.
It's just there's diminishing returns to everything.
Exactly.
But you can see how guys can be really successful when their parents are like right there with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Lawrences. They still have Dazzy there all the time. I mean, it's different. Like, I think it's probably different for them because they moved as a family from a completely different country. And then they went to Europe, and then they came to America. So it's like, there's no way that you just send a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old to Europe by themselves. It's not possible. And then he always worked on the bikes and was in like literally developing with them, you know? So it's like, they probably have a bit of a head start when it comes to just the same crew's been around them. Nothing changed. Their dad's there, their mum's there. They're all still doing it. You look at the Tomacs.
Yeah.
That's what they did. You look at the Degans. That's what they did. So there probably is an advantage on the front side. But I could also see that it probably gets to a point where like you just wish you had a bit more freedom and autonomy that you did to where, like, I don't know, maybe you get 5 or 6 years in and you've never had any real freedom. And like, so maybe the first years of your career, you really kill it, but on the backside, it hurts you.
Yeah.
But I mean, there definitely is something to just staying on the program. Your parents are around, but it's just, that's not the reality for 99% of people in the sport.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think about that a lot too. Like it kind of bums me out because my dad, like, he runs his own business at home, so he can't be out there at the test track with me. Like, he's through the moon when he gets to watch me ride during the week. And
Dude, your dad, I actually watched Washougal with your dad.
You did tell me that, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Your dad's
a
a
funny
legend.
dude.
Yeah.
But
he's fit as fuck, bro.
yeah, dude, he's jacked. He's gnarly.
Yeah. I remember looking at him just being like, brother, like, fuck, how many chin-ups can you do, motherfucker?
He's just doing push-ups in between qualifying.
I left inspired by him. But how old is he?
Dude, around 50. I can't say for sure.
I want to be jacked at 50. I'm not even jacked at 35. Like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to be jacked at 50.
Dude, when I went to MTF with my mom, he stayed home to run the business, obviously, and he lost like 30 to 40 pounds then. And like, because he always rode and then never had a bike, obviously, and taking me to the races, but got a bike when I left so he could kind of do his own thing. And he started training just to get back to riding. And then it turned into him training because he liked it. And then, like, like I said, he lost so much weight and then just got jacked. Like, it was crazy.
Fast forward now, he's just a 50-year-old beast.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know. But like I was saying, I think about that. Like, watching Jet and Hunter with Dazzy, I think it really, like, comes down to, like, what, like, their values are. And it looks like they really value, like, family, which is the most important thing, you know? Like, you don't want that relationship to ruin, or you don't want moto to ruin that relationship, you know? Like, a lot of families could really have falling outs through.
Oh, you would have heard horror stories.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I know Chase is really close with his dad, Kier. Like, Kier's out at the practice track with us all the time, with him at least. And seeing that, it's cool, but like, there's also a backside of that too. Like, it's...
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen those guys have some arguments.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I haven't seen that firsthand. Like, you only hear stories, but like, other guys that, I don't know, their parents are almost holding them back, you know? Like, they want it so bad for themselves that they can't just let the kid go, you know? So you kind of have to find that balance. And like, if you do, that's like big. Like, that's the 1% of like families right there, you know?
Yeah, and that's all this shit just fully applies to life. It's fully applies to moto, but it's just life in general. You know, like, there's so many parents out there. Man, I've had some crazy experiences. I told one guy, I was like, just point blank, said to his face, I'm like, I just think you need to decide whether you want this more than your kid. Like, that he was talking to me I can't remember, I think it was just like at a race. He was telling me about his kid. What should I do? What should I, like, what's the next? And I'm like, man, Ryan Dungey lived in Minnesota. It snowed half the year and his dad was busy with the construction business and he made it. Yeah. Your kid will make it if your kid is meant to make it.
Yeah, and if he wants to too. Like, that's the biggest thing.
If you want this more than your kid, you'll fucking ruin his life.
Oh, 100%.
Your entire goal should be to be just a good parent. Yeah. And whether your kid's playing fucking football, basketball, like, whatever they're doing, you have to let the kid do what they want to do, because I'm sure you fucking wanted it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, there was always, I shouldn't say there was always an option, but it was like, my dad kind of, I saw a lot of what he was doing. Like, at the time, I didn't really understand the sacrifices, but I was like, wow, he's putting his life into this. So, like, I need to make it happen. But it wasn't him like, dude, like, if we don't make this, like, it's going to be like the end of the world type of thing. Like, it was always for me. I remember he sat me down after like 2013 Loretta's. It was my first year on 85 and I didn't do great. And he was like, dude, if we don't get any more support, like, it's just going to be, that's it. Like, I can't do this anymore. And like, by the grace of God, that next week, Christy LaCurl from KTM
Yeah,
called
yeah,
us
yeah.
and was like, hey, we want to support Pierce for next year. And that's like how we got in with TK and TLD and everything. And it was like, from there is when it jump started. Like, that's what really changed the trajectory of like my career. But yeah, like at the time he was like, obviously I was bummed, but I was like, well, I mean, okay, like I'll just
I get it.
I'll go hang out with my buddies, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't get to hang out with friends, so it'll be fun, you know.
It would be hard as a kid to, as a parent, to see a kid that has a lot of talent. Like you've just always, when you ride, like you can ride a bike. You're just one of those guys that's just got, obviously you put in work and you put in time, but you watch you ride and you're just like, fuck, that kid's good. And it would be very hard as a parent to see a kid that you know has talent and not be able to use it or not be able to like live up to the potential that you think that you have. But that should be like where it stops as a parent, you know, like you just can't. If your kid has that talent but doesn't want to race, like that's also cool, you know.
I know a couple people like that. Like, dude, for instance, like, I hope he doesn't get mad at me for bringing this up, but like Matt LeBlanc, like he is so good on a dirt bike, dude. And I think he could have been like sick, like really good. But it was one of those deals, like his parents put a lot of pressure on him and like their livelihood on him, and that's just that never works out, you know. Like it can, but you kind of have to know when to push and when to just like sit back, and like it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just like how it happened. But like you were saying, it could happen to really anybody, you know.
Yeah, and you can bet the farm on your kid and it can work, but it's like the chances of doing some crazy damage in the process.
Yeah.
It's just like you just got to know the risk that you're taking, you know. And you can see, like I always think about Zach Bell as his parents were fucked. Like his dad was cool, and it's not like a too much pressure or too, but it's almost like they needed them to do well to stay in it, and that just does create a crazy level of pressure. And it's like he just had some huge crashes that ended his career. And I had this thought the other day. I was doing that post-race show with Weege, and we were talking about Deegan. Obviously, he did really well over those first 2 rounds. And it's like, it just really came to my head, like, that's actually the advantage of having money in this sport, is that you can get your kid to the point where they get a ride. And then when they get a ride, it's not make or break.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to make this work or we're fucked. And I think that there are some families that's the cards they've been dealt. They don't have much money. They got a kid with crazy talent that could make it, and they just go all in. And that's where you're just kind of rolling the dice because, you know, your kid might feel the crazy amounts of pressure and take risks that he shouldn't be taking, or, you know, like have crashes that are a result of that. And it's like, that's a bummer to see people go out like that, you know?
Yeah, no, I think I don't know if that's why Hayden's as good as he is, but I agree with you on that. Like there was guidance, but like it was like thought out, you know? Like it wasn't make or break, you know.
And it's
like,
like,
we're gonna do
hey,
this,
we'll
we're gonna
be
do that.
fine.
Yeah.
You lose your star ride, cool.
Yeah, I
like
know.
all good, bro.
He's fine, dude.
Yeah.
He's okay. But yeah, I think you could, like I was saying, you see the backside of it in some kids, like getting back to like the parent subject. If that was everything and like anything and everything for their parents, and like they put that pressure on the kid and then it doesn't work out, what's that kid gonna do? Like that's all he knows. Now he's trying to figure out like life and like who he is and where to go, dude. It's just such a scary spot to be. So like for me, I think going to MTF, as crazy as it sounds, was like the best thing for me, because I saw like the outside world and I was like, okay, like if this doesn't pan out, like I'll be like working at a freaking Chick-fil-A. Like I have no education, you know, like I have a GED, or not a GED. I have like a high school diploma, but that's it. But like, I don't know, like I don't have anything past that. I don't like school. I don't plan on going back. So like, I want this because I want this, you know, not because my parents do, that type of thing.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's really, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to do what you guys do.
Yeah.
To get up every day and to put the amount of work in that it takes to be at the top and then to come back from injuries and to overcome. Like, I just feel like you guys get thrown so much adversity and it's just hard. Like, it's really hard to get up to just to pace, like to be a guy that can contend to keep a job, like the amount of work that has to go in. Like, you can't fake that level of work, you know?
Yeah. And like so much goes into it. Like, it's not as simple as just doing the work. It's as simple as like it all has to line up, you know? Like, you have somebody like J Mart, for instance, dude, he's so nasty on a bike. Like, won how many titles, and then he had a couple of injuries, and then like the Star deal didn't work out, so he was on muck off, and like that was, I don't know, like for somebody like J Mart to be struggling for a ride, it's insane, you know? Like, it don't make sense to me. Like, it's crazy how small like of a like window you have to make it in the sport, and like how hard it is to like stay like in like that factory ride like area and like content, you know?
Yeah, dude. And there's so few seats.
Yeah.
And I guess like really good seats too.
Yeah.
And then once you kind of like start going backwards, it's like that's a very slippery slope to be on.
Yeah. There's a couple of guys that have done it. They've came back from it, but it's not a spot you want to be in for sure.
No.
You know? Like,
Range, I want to play that stuff from the weekend. Let's relive this a little bit. So this is pretty dope. Obviously gets the dub. But the next few shots of you finding out that you won the amount of money that you did. Turn it up a bit. This is so sick.
You just made $250,000, baby!
Like, shut the fuck up.
dude. Let's fucking go. That's so sick.
Yeah, you just like, you're in shock, eh? You're like, you
Yeah.
don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I was like, dude, I can't even like let myself like
It all
feel
comes
it,
at you
know?
so quick, right?
Yeah.
I told you we were gonna fucking win one. I told you we were gonna fucking win one, motherfucker.
Fucking do it, dude.
We fucking won one.
Thank you so much.
Dude, I love Will.
He's the best, man.
I fucking love him. Dude, that was the best part of it. Giving him a win, dude. Like, I love him like a brother, and I wanted so bad for so long to do that and like give that to him.
How dope is this, bro?
Dude, and even TK like walks up to me and can't say anything because like I can see he's like, yeah, there it is.
250.
Oh fuck.
Told you I'd teach you how to fucking win.
That's so sick. Was that right? Yeah, bro. How sick is that?
Yeah.
Like, to be able to, yeah, there's just those people that have your back so much, and it's like they just stick with you through, like, they maintain belief even when you don't.
Yeah, no,
you know?
100%. Like, Will and TK, like, TK has done so much for me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have a ride right now. Like, I promise you, I'd probably be working for my dad. Like, I had a couple bad years, and he had no reason to believe I still had it or had what he thought I did. But yeah, there was like I can't remember what year it was. It was 2020 when I tore my ACL. My deal was up that next year. He was like, I'll do something for you. I'm like, okay, like what's up? He was like, I'll change your contract from a 1-year deal to a 2-year deal. So you get surgery, because I wasn't going to get surgery on my knee, but he was like, I want you to get surgery. I want you to just take 6 months to just get your body right and then come back. And then I took 6 months off. My first race back at Daytona was my first ever podium, and that was crazy, dude. It was a cool feeling. But no, it was, dude, like I went from getting a podium, and then that next weekend at Texas in qualifying, I have the dumbest crash in a corner, and I break my thumb, and I'm out for another 4 to 6 weeks. And I'm like, dude, like I can't catch a break. Like I was on such a high, and now I'm on such a low. Like, but the whole time TK was there, just telling me, he was like, dude, whatever you need, I got you. Like, not that you'll always have a ride. Like, it was more so he's always gonna be there if I need him, you know? Like, so that was cool. And then, yeah, 2021, summer 21 is when me and Will started working together. And, yeah, like, obviously, you know, Will, such a good dude. And, like, from day one, he's like, dude, like, I'm so glad that you believed in me from day one. Like, everything he said and told me to do, I just did it, you know? Like, it's not like I was arguing with him, but, like, he had a couple guys that at the time, like, didn't trust him because he had no, like, his resume wasn't a trainer, it was a manager. Yep. So, like, yeah. But he's still a gnarly dude. Like, if you see him on a road bike, like, he goes deep. He's done Leadville, like, got a belt. It's insane. Like, he's a gnarly dude. But yeah, he was just so happy that I trusted him from day one that he reciprocated it back to me. And, like, it was like a full circle type thing, but it was, yeah, unreal.
Yeah, he's just a very genuinely good person, you know? And I think that they're the people that you have to try and find in this game. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you really have to try and life in general as well, but it's like, especially in this, when it's contracts, and there's so many, this team and this contract and this agent, and that, like, there's a lot of, like, you can end up becoming just another person's chess piece. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and when you find real people in the industry that you've got long relationships with, it's just such an important thing, you know, and they're two guys that just on a human level are very good people. And it's like, when you can, if you trust in those guys, like that, I think that's when you do end up getting the results. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, like you said, it's like, we're in a sport where there's so many moving pieces, and you can't just become like another chess piece. Like, I don't know, like, if Mitch wants a guy for the summer, but he's got a plan for like the next year, and I don't have a plan past that, but that's my only option. Like, I'm going to take it, you know, but like, long term, is that the best choice? Is that the best decision? So it's it's hard finding those genuine people that really like see it in you, and they're like, you are going to be someone one day, even if you don't see it yourself, like, you're going to, like, I'll be there every step of the way. But it's one of those things, like, they can't do it for you. Like, you're going to have to end up doing it eventually. Like, they could sell you the dream and tell you everything that you need to hear, but it's up to you at the end of the day. And that's like what I finally realized. I'm like, I've been waiting for something to happen for how many years? Like, I think it's time I make something happen, you know? Like, it's one of those, it was one of those nights, like I said, everything like clicked.
Yeah, and even when you were saying before about blocking out the negative thoughts, that takes so much effort.
Dude, it's so hard. It's like, have you ever seen that Receiver show on Netflix? No. It's called Receiver, but there's a part on it with
my dad. My dad's watched it, and I've kind of watched it. Yeah, such a good show
with George Kittle. Is that his name?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. He's on the Chiefs. Tall guy, long hair.
Yeah.
But on the field, he was like meditating, and it's something that I've like done and tried before. But it was crazy seeing somebody like him do it. Like, he was basically just manifesting, like he said. I think he was like, breathe in positivity, breathe out negativity, or something like that. Like, breathe in belief, breathe out doubt. And like, from that, I watched that 2-3 weeks ago, and then from that point I started doing it. And like, that was like part of what happened on Saturday night. I'm like, okay, like, it's really hard to do, but if you could do it, like some people say, the race is won before the gate drops, you know? Like, you have to be in that headspace and know you're going to be the guy, or be up there, you know, or else it's just like pointless to be out there. And like I was there for so many years, like just showing up to the line hoping I would have like a lucky moto. But with that becomes like doubt because there's so many variables that you can't control. And if you worry about that, then you're just spun out at that point, you know?
Yeah, and I just think the people that are really successful are just extremely intentional. Mm-hmm. Intentional with their thoughts, intentional with their speech. Just everything's intentional. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very, very hard to stay that committed.
Yeah.
And to stay that positive or to be that committed to blocking out negative thoughts. But, you know, I really believe that in life or being an athlete, like you hold the line, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, this is who I am. This is how I think. This is what I believe. Yeah. And if anything to the contrary comes in, or you notice that, dude, I didn't block a negative thought, and now I'm in a bit of a rabbit hole. Yeah. It's like you just catch yourself and just hold the line for yourself as to, you know, make that commitment. Like, this is actually the person that I'm going to be. I could talk for 3 hours about meditation.
Yeah, no,
but it is
crazy.
Massive, bro.
That, and then like manifestation too. If he could pull up, can you pull up Instagram on that?
Yeah.
Go to my my post with, it was like the farewell with TLD.
Yeah.
Dude, this is crazy. This has been like fucking me up for a couple of days because this photo,
which one?
Where we're all under the semi holding up the number one. That photo was taken on Friday after free practice, and Emery's like, "All right, everybody, like, do something," and everybody throws the number one up, and I do it, and then I'm like, "Wait, like, what the fuck? Like, this is corny. Like, what?" And then I end up winning the next day, and that's in the photo album that Amanda sends me, and I'm like, what? Like that's insane. Like, I did it without thinking, but it was just like, I don't know, something. I might be thinking too far into it, but something was just like telling us that like it was gonna happen, you know?
I fully believe that shit, eh?
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, you know, in my life, there's times where I play out conversations in my head that I'm going to have after I've won or after I've got it. Like with the podcast, I mean, it's a bit different. It's like sponsorship deals and guests and guest conversations. And, you know, like I feel like there kind of is a point, again, where there's diminishing returns, where you can just be thinking so far into the future. But it's like you can inhabit that space before you do it.
Yeah.
And you can be that person. You can feel what it's going to be like to be that person. You can think about what you're going to say on the podium. Like, you really can be in a place before you're there. And I just feel like the future's just this really weird, unwritten thing. That's just, it's like it's there, but it's not there.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like at 7 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. at opening ceremonies, someone's going to be on the podium making a speech.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be holding the trophy.
Yeah.
So it's like, feel what it would be like for that to be you. And I don't know, there's like for me at least, there's like a weird way where I always feel like I'm trying to will the future.
Yeah.
And like make the future happen the way that I've like seen it happen. It's like you can build that into your head, and it feels like the things that I've like really put the most effort to, and the thing that I've put the most intention to, it seems like they come a lot easier. And then you get into this feedback loop where you've won one of these things now, and you've been in that space, and then now you take that into the next thing, and now you take that into the next race, and so it's like it's this constant, like you're just constantly building the future in every moment that you're in. And it's like, it's very easy to just say like, it's fucking lame.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Well,
like,
that's the
be
thing.
too cool to think like that. But I mean,
that's the thing, because manifestation it's 100% real. Like I don't think it's always positive either. Like you just said, it could be negative. Like you'll see, I don't know, like there's so many guys that you see on Instagram, or maybe you just like acquaint with them every other day, that are just always negative and bummed about something and wonder why they can't get out of this hole and something shitty always happens to them. But every time there is an opportunity for something good to happen to them, they just go negative. Like, oh yeah, like it ain't gonna happen to me. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know. Like with as dumb as picking a chip at Loretta's. Like, yeah, like I never get lucky and pick a good one, so I'm gonna pick a bad one, and then they pick a bad one. You know, like it's stuff like that. Like I've come to realize is actually real, and like it's so easy to flip that to a positive, but it's hard at the same time. Like it takes everything.
It takes a full commitment.
No,
like,
it does.
You can draw 40 at Loretta's. It's a great example.
Yeah.
And you can think, fuck, I have an opportunity to rip the whole shot from gate 40. Like,
I mean,
so few people have done that. That would be the sickest clip. And then you can see it.
Yeah,
and,
like perspective is reality, you know? That's the main thing. Like if you could not even just think positive about everything, but just like even kill like neutral. Like, okay, I got 40th gate pick. I mean, I feel like I'm a really good closer, so I'm gonna see what I could do here, you know? Like that, it could be as simple as that, but like, I don't know, some people never figure that side out for themselves, and it's just like it shows, but I don't know, it's something, it's hard, but it's not.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I also think that there's something to like really understanding the impact that your attitude and vibe has on other people. So there's this circle around you where you impact certain people. So like if I'm sitting here being negative and fucking down and my facial expressions are fucking shit, and it's like that immediately reflects onto you.
Yeah.
And it influences then what you give me. And you just end up in this.
Yeah, nobody
just, like,
wants to
bouncing
be around
energy
that,
back.
you know?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things like that person's gonna find a group of people that's like him, you know? Like
Exactly.
everybody's just in a circle talking about how shitty life is, you know? Like I had one of those days at the test track a couple weeks ago. I slept terrible the night before. I'm tired that day. And it was my first day on Supercross after Ironman. So I'm like thinking it's going to be a mellow day. And then I see the schedule and Will has 2 20-minute motos. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, I'm so tired right now. Like, I can't even do one of them. You want me to do 2 of them? And I was just pissed off, having a bad day. And then get done with the day. And Frankie and Will walk up to me. They're like, dude, like, what's wrong? Like, nobody wants to be around something like that. Like, as hard as today was for you, like, it's hard too, but if you could put on a front and then just kind of go with the flow, easy kill, even kill, and make it through the day, no matter where you go in life, somebody's going to want to be around that. So that attracts more like greatness, you know, like in the world, you know? So after that day, I was like, okay, like maybe you're right. Like I'm putting too much on this practice day. It really don't matter that much. I'm just going to go enjoy it. And the rest of the year, that's what we did. And I think the last day of practice, Frankie was like, dude, like what was it today? Like, why were you in such a good mood? Because we need that on race day. I'm like, I don't know. I just finally felt refreshed, and I just made myself, or almost forced myself to be and think good things, you know, because what you think is what you do, and what you think is what you say. So if you're thinking negative, everybody knows, you know? So I don't know. Like I said, perspective is reality, and I brought that to the races, and obviously the first 2 weren't that great for me, but I rode really good the second round at Dallas. And then, I was kind of like, all right, I mean, obviously I want to do good at the last round, but I'm not going to put my whole existence on this. If I'm 10th, I'm still the same person. I'm not less of a person if I'm 10th versus like a winning guy, you know? So that was something that's like opened my eye this year. And it's just kind of what you bring to every day is what people want to be around.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, there's just always a level, and anyone can do this. Like there's a level of how much worse your life could be
Yeah, I know.
than where you are right now, no matter what. There's always a way that you could be like, fuck, I'm so glad I'm not this. I'm so glad my wife doesn't have cancer. I'm so glad. Like, it's very, 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 if you have the ability to listen to this podcast right now, means you've got some headphones, or you've got an iPhone, or you've got a car with speakers, and you're driving to a fucking job. Like, God, it could be worse.
Could be so much worse.
And if you can start every day like that, with just the perspective of how good your life actually is it perfect? No. Could it be better? Yes.
Yeah. And they say you got to do and find, or not find, but you have to do what you love every day, or it feels like a job, you know? But I think you kind of trick your mind into liking something that you don't, and then you end up actually enjoying, like, kind of the discipline it takes to wake up every day and go to the track, and then go to, like, or hit the spin bike before you go to the track, and then on the way back hit the gym. Like, that part of it is actually pretty cool because I'm getting paid to stay as fit as I can.
Yep.
I have to prioritize eating healthy. And most people, I mean, it's hard. If I didn't race dirt bikes, I wouldn't eat as healthy as I can because, like, it's not as enjoyable. But, like, after the fact, once you have a good meal, I'm like, wow, okay, like that feels good. And then you wake up refreshed the next morning. Like, the discipline it takes to really take what you're doing seriously is almost the bigger picture, I think, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that there's two selves that you have, right? So there's the Pierce Brown that's in the moment that wants to eat a brownie and wants to drink some Coke and have that feel. Like, that would make the now Pierce Brown feel great.
Yeah.
But then there's also this future Pierce Brown that's going to pay for that. And there's a me right now that doesn't really want to go for a run. I haven't run in a few weeks and I'm going to feel like fucking shit.
Yeah.
But then there's also the future me that wants to be fit. And so, like, we're constantly at war with the me right now and the future me. And it's like, we want very different things for those for those two people, but they're the same person.
That's what's, like, fun about this time of the year. That happened to me last night. I was just on the couch watching a movie with my chick, and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of hungry. I'm gonna get on DoorDash. Find Five Guys. Like, I haven't had Five Guys in a minute, dude. I'm gonna get it. So I get a milkshake and bacon burger, and then I eat it. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I feel like shit. Maybe this is why I don't do this that often. And this morning, I'm like, dude, I feel so bad. Like,
Once you do it, once you eat clean for a while.
Yeah, like, it was fun in the moment, but I'm like, okay. I mean, I would have rather just made something, you know, like chicken and rice would be easy. Go to the grocery store, but I don't know. You get in such a routine that getting out of it feels weird, but you don't want it to get to the point where it feels comfortable, like getting out of routine.
Yeah,
you know? I don't know. That's but like I said, off season's fun. I enjoy it.
I am always excited to partner with great brands that I personally use. Quadlock has a wide array of products that integrate seamlessly into every facet of my daily life, whether at the office, en route to my next adventure, or during the adventure itself. Quadlock makes it easy to keep my essentials charged, secure, and in reach. Recently, I've been using the handlebar mount for my phone alongside the new action cam mount. The action cam mount takes away the fuss of tightening screws and gives you that simple Quadlock quarter turn, making installation and removal of your action cam quick and easy. On my last adventure ride across Vietnam, I even crashed the bike and a Quadlock mount kept my phone secure. Quadlock's vibrating dampener is a must-have with smartphone applications to protect your camera's internals from harmful vibrations. Quadlock is designed for any day, any adventure. Go to quadlockcase.com to find your specific application or use the 360 kit builder to discover how interchangeable all these mounts can be. And use the code GYPSYGANG for 10% off your purchase and elevate your next adventure with Quadlock.
So how hard was it knowing that everything that was going on with the team this year?
Dude, so I
What did you know? When did you know it?
I didn't know anything until Paula, the first
Really?
outdoors. Yeah, dude. Nobody tells me shit. I remember, this is another story, but I remember when we were going from KTM to Gas. I didn't know until that October, and everybody knew in like April that we were going from KTM to Gas. And I found out, I'm like, dude, this sucks. I don't want to go Gas. But it actually ended up being a really sick brand, and I was stoked to be a part of it. But with my deal for the 25 season, I started making calls early, like March, April, and talked to Mitch a few times, talked to Bobby. And at the time, Bobby, he had Nate, Smitty, and a couple other guys. It was like verbal agreement for next year. Like they were like, we want to stay. And then there was like a period of time where Thrasher wanted to leave, and Bobby was like, if Thrasher goes, we're gonna have a spot for you, but if not, then I don't know what to tell you. And then literally the next morning, Bobby calls me, hey dude, Thrasher just signed for the next couple of years. Like, I'm sorry, but if we find anything, I'll let you know. And then I was like, okay, like this is weird. But at the time, I didn't know anything about the team. I was calling TK because I was pretty open with TK. I was like, hey dude, I think it's time for a change for me. And he's like, I agree with you. And he was the one that set me up with Mitch. He wanted me to go that route. And I was kind of banking on that after Bobby told me like I didn't have anything. And then I remember it was Philly, Friday after press. Bobby called me. He was like, hey, come to the semi. I have a contract. Take it or leave it. And I was like, fuck, really? Like, like I guess that's my answer, you know? Like, I was stoked, but I was like, at the same time, kind of scared because I know how Bobby works. Like, if I would have left that day, I would have never got an opportunity. So I went ahead and like signed the LOI. And then, that next Monday, of course, Mitch calls me and like, he's like, hey dude, like I got a contract to send you. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but I already like signed. But I got that out of my head way before I heard anything going on with the team, which was the best thing for me because June, when Paula 1 comes around, or we only had one Paula. But yeah, when we were at press day, Jacob's like, hey dude, like what's going on with your team? Like, what do you mean? Like nothing. Like I think it's gonna be the same next year. He's like, no, dude, I heard TLD and Gas is folding. I'm like, the hell? Like, that's weird. And then I ask around, and then I get more info on it. But, of course, like, the team's not going to come to me and tell me that. I have to hear from, like, other, like, people. So, yeah, I was trying to, like, figure out what was going on, but I wasn't too stressed about it because I already had something of my own going on. So, yeah, it was more so I was, like, trying to, like, get, like, the, I don't know, info and shit, but... I was blindsided until at Paula when I heard about it. I'm like, fuck, this is crazy. Like Roger and Ian like are really cutting back on like I don't think it was so much the Gas brand. I think they just wanted the Gas brand in-house where before it was like TLD owned. So yeah, it was just weird, dude. Like I still don't know how it's going to be for next year.
Yeah, I think I don't know everything about it, but I just think it's KTM just lost a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. So I think last year, I was actually watching a video. There's a real good video on YouTube that explains like the whole KTM situation. Mm-hmm. But I think last year they spent 165 million euros on racing.
No way.
Across, like globally as like the KTM or Peer Mobility Group or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think then for this year, they had to get it down to 100 mil. For next year. So I just think they basically had to make like a bunch of cuts. And what I heard was that the whole Troy Lee side of it and that operation could have stayed Gas, but they'd have to be Rockstar. Mm. And Troy, from what I heard, said, fuck all that. Red Bull till I die. Yeah. I think they still have a couple of years on the Red Bull contract anyway. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they could have got out of it. But, dude, they've been Red Bull for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
That was like-
I just think they were just like, well, we're good.
Yeah.
You guys do your thing. We'll take a year off and see what we can figure out. But
Yeah.
we're not doing Rockstar. So that's basically what I heard. So you just had like this weird situation where KTM had to pull back on budgets, and then that meant that they just couldn't have like all this extra shit. But I think from what it sounds like is that there's only going to be, I think Bosch is going to be on a 450, probably Rockstar 450.
That's
Crazy.
That'll be crazy.
And RJ 450, Malcolm 450, and then everyone else on the 250s. And it'll be like Rockstar gas under that.
wow. Yeah, that'll be.
Did you know any of that?
I didn't know any of that. No, I
And this is all, I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, I could see that for sure because I went to the TLD shop the other day to do some photos for like the Venom gear, and I saw Troy and I was just talking to him, and Troy's funny, dude. He probably overshared like way too much, but he was like running me down everything that was going on. He was like, yeah, well, we so they sold their company or sold a percentage of the company to I forget who, but this was a couple years ago, and then that company ended up losing a lot of money on TLD, so they sold it back to Troy for peanuts. So he was like, this is even better. Like, I get all ownership of my company now. And he was saying how, they just really wanted to say Red Bull. He was like, I mean, at least the Red Bull brand is like, it's elite. Like, once you get into that bubble and area, it's, at least with TLD, like, it's hard to get out of, but if you're out of it, dude, it's impossible to get into, you know? Like, if another team, say, like, Club wanted, like, a Red Bull deal, like, that would be really hard to get, I would feel like. So, I think it's just the prestige of the brand that I mean, obviously, like, I agree with it, too. Like, Red Bull's sick, and having, like, the chin bar with, like, the custom paints it was cool. But I'm not too sure what their plan is, like, long-term, you know?
I reckon I got some ideas. There's a few new brands coming in. They're just such a sick... Like, if you're with Troy, you're doing cool shit. You know, like, you guys did the Ghostbusters thing. You had the Venom thing. He has the fucking sickest gear.
Yeah.
The Red Bull thing. Like, that's a cool program. And just being around Troy is so sick. He's just such a cool dude.
Yeah, that was, like, such a cool brand to be a part of. Like, they were family, dude. Like, I was saying... I said something on my Instagram, like, yeah, like, they'll be family for life, which they will be, dude. Like, I've been a TLD rider since 2014 or 15, so it was 9 years. And, yeah, everybody from when I got on and started wearing TLD is basically stayed with TLD until now. So, like, it was kind of cool to go through that chunk of my life with, like, those people, because everybody there is just such good people, genuine, always want the best for me, for the brand. So, like, I think it's hard to, like you said, it's hard to come by people like that in this industry. And, like, I'm super grateful that I got the opportunity to.
Well, it's cool. It's cool that you made the decision on your own terms too. I wasn't sure how the timeline worked for you going to a different team, whether it was like a reaction to the news, like, hey, you won't have a job here next year because the team's not going to be there in the capacity that it was.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you kind of like, I just need a change, because that's a real thing too, to just know that you need something different for your career, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty open with TK about it, and I had a couple opportunities with Star, like, right when I signed with TLD in 2015,
I think I heard that.
Bobby met me at MTF, and he brought me a contract, and he was like, hey, boy, like, we want winners. Like, if you want to be a winner, come to California. And then at the time, I'm, like, seeing, it was Amart, Shane, Jesse, there was, McElrath, I already said McElrath, but Oldenburg. There was, like, a bunch of good guys on TLD, and, like, they were all working with Tyler, and that was, like, the next, like, I don't know, like team coming up. So I was like, dude, I could be the next guy, you know, like this team is going to take me to the top. And unfortunately, they lost everybody the year that I went pro. It was like me, Brandon, and Derek and Brian. So it was a full rebuild year, and it was really hard for us to kind of like make it out of, or dig ourselves out of the hole, because we had no guidance, you know, like there was nobody at the test track that was ripping that we could watch. Like it was just me watching Brandon, and Brandon wondering if he could be on the podium or not, like if he has like the speeds to be that guy. And like that was tough, and I don't know, that kind of drugged through the next couple of years. And 2022, that was my best Supercross season in my eyes. Like I had a couple podiums, finished third in the title. And for 23 and 24, Bobby was wanting me to come to Florida, but they hadn't moved yet. That was the year they were moving. And I was like, dude, this could go bad. Like, I don't know how this will pan out. So I just figured I'd stay. And I was like, dude, I'm good. I'm doing good here. So I'll just keep on doing me. And I remember that phone call. I had to tell Bobby that I was going to sign with TLD again. And then he goes, okay, boy, like, I respect that. Thank you for calling me, but I guess you don't want to be a winner. I was like, dude, that lit a fire under my ass. I'm like this guy. And, yeah, that stuck with me for the next couple of years. And then, yeah, now full circle, I'm back with them. But when he, or when I was reaching out to him, I was like, if he ever offers me another contract, I can't turn it down, dude. Like, as much as, like, PC is a great team, I was like, Stars, they're the team right now, and I can't miss that opportunity, you know? Like, this is, I'm getting, I don't want to say later in my career, because I feel like I'm still super young and I have a ton of years ahead of me, but I'm getting to that point. I need to make a change, and I need to be that guy, you know? Like, I need to break out of this slump that I'm in. So I figured with that program, like, that was the best thing I could do. So I'm really excited. It'll be good. Obviously, it sucks making that decision because you bum so many other people out that have stuck behind you for so long. But like we were talking about, you have to be selfish in this sport. And that was one thing that I don't want to say I regretted, because I don't regret anything that or any decision that I made, but I wish there were scenarios and times where I'd put myself first instead of others. So I was like, dude, I'm getting older now. Like I've learned so much in my career so far. So I need to make this step. Like, this is the thing that will take me to the next level, you know? So if I have to, I have to. And no, but I'm excited. I mean, there's great people on that team too. Like I worked with Rich Simmons at TLD. He was our crew chief. Dude, yeah. I love Richie. Yeah. So I'm going to be, obviously he's on the 450 side. I think he's still crew chief there, but I was stoked to be back, like, around him. He was a big part of, like, helping me kind of mature and actually, like, take that step of, like, going pro. Like, when I raced my first ever pro race, I didn't, like, I don't know, like, I wasn't thinking like a pro rider. Like, I was like, yeah, you know, just
happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to be here, you know. Yeah. And he
I got to the dance. Sweet.
Yeah, he was the one guy. He had a lot of wisdom, but he was the one guy that helped me a lot, like, in my early years. So yeah, I'm stoked to be around him too.
Do you know what you're in for there? Like, you feel like you know enough about the program, and like what they ask of guys that,
yeah.
Because I think that's a big thing with that program now, is like, I feel like it's been enough documentation about what it's like there and what they expect. And I think, I mean, you're obviously close with Levi too. And I think if you go there ready and keen for what that program is and taking it for what it is, then you can really do well there, you know.
That's the main thing. Like, if you go there without like a plan, or if you're not ready mentally for that program, like, that'll just chew you up and spit you out. So I didn't know if I was ever there until now. I'm like, dude, it's do or die at this moment. And that was like what Frankie helped me out with, because he took over for Max as team manager, started outdoors, and all year, he's like, dude, I gotta get you ready for Star. Like, you gotta toughen up. Like, I'm gonna toughen you up. And like, it was cool when we just watched that clip of him. Like, I knew I would teach you how to win. That was what he was preaching, like the whole summer, and then coming into SMX, like he just wanted to make me and Ryder both just tougher, so we were ready for whatever. Like it was cool having him like not show us, but push us into basically hell, and like it gave me and Ryder the confidence to know that we can make it out of whatever, you know. So like that was a big part of me preparing and like being ready for this next year. Like, I know it's going to be tough. There's going to be freaking, feels like 12 fast guys that I'm going to ride with like every day. But it's one of those teams, like if you do the work and if you just show up every day, like you're going to be a winner.
Yeah.
It's proven. They've done it with enough guys. I trust it. And yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. And I think you're in a good position in your life and career to make it work there too. You know, like you've got experience. It's not, the workload's probably not gonna like bury you. You know, I could see going there and just being a young dude and just falling behind. You know, and just like not having the energy to do it and kind of getting into a rut. But I think when you're going there with like years of experience under your belt, like Max is probably in a similar position to you.
Yeah.
You know, like he's won some races, but he's never won the championship. And he's an older dude. He's older than you, but you know, he's got that work on his body already. Yeah. And it's like, you can just go there and just fucking lock in, you know?
It is like a powerhouse, like you're saying. Like, you have to be ready for it. But if you are, like, I expect Max to be really good. Like, I was stoked when I found out he signed, because I'm like, we are going to have such a team next year. Obviously, Deegan's been crushing it. Anstey's, I mean, he's battled with Hurlings, won races over in Europe, and yeah, just having all those guys. Nate's won so many races. I mean, I'm drawing a blank right now of who else I'll be around, but it'll be some tough guys, some really good guys, and those guys are gonna be on my ass. If not, I'll be chasing them on practice days. Like, that's kind of what makes that program so good, because iron sharpens iron. Like, you have to be with fast guys. At least that's one thing I've lacked the last couple of years. Like, I've had a couple teammates. Like, Mosey was insane. That's another guy I forgot. Mosey, yeah. Mosey was insane at the test track. But besides that, like, I would just start either a ways in front of him until he'd catch me, or a ways behind him, and then he'd just pull away. Like, I never like learned racecraft or anything like that. So I think that's what that program teaches and gives you, on top of just like being a dog, you know. Like, you just have to, like I said, show up. Has
Levi given you any advice for navigating Star?
Yeah, he has. Which me and Levi have been close for a while. I've known him since I was like 9-10 years old, dude. It's crazy. I met him at an area qualifier at a track in Utah called Bunker Hill. And we raced, I think it snowed or rained or something like that. We raced and battled. And then after that, we just like chopped it up. And then I would see him at the amateur races every year, and every like race after that. And Levi's like such a good dude. Like, it's so hard not to like him, you know? So yeah, we just got close through that. And then I never expected him to be where he's at now. Like,
really?
Ever, dude. I mean,
in what way?
Me, Shimoda, and Styles, that was like our group. Like, it was us three. And then Levi was like fifth. Sometimes he would have a good ride and get fourth, but like, he wasn't a threat to me ever. And then we go pro, or I go pro before he does. He gets that Star ride and then moves to California, and then we get close again, and then it's back to us battling. And I'm like, dude, I haven't battled Levi in a little bit. Like, this is cool, but like, I mean, I was selfishly like mad that he was getting better than me. And then he ends up having a crazy year this year, which I'm super stoked for him. But one of those things, I'm like, I know a lot of things changes when you go pro, but when I was amateur, you would have told me Levi would be winning Supercrosses, and I'd be like, dude, like, what? No way. Like, because there was a couple years, Levi ended up working for his dad for like a summer, and he just like wasn't taking dirt bikes serious. He was just doing his own thing out in Washougal, Washington, and comes back and just barks. You know, he's just a different guy. And seeing his trajectory and seeing his path, it's insane because you could really make it. However, like you could be an AC and win everything, and then you go win an outdoor title, or you could be a Levi Kitchen or even like a Joe Shibota, because I feel like Joe's another guy that I always like took him serious, but I didn't ever expect him to like be the guy and be like winning. And when him and Levi and like all those guys started winning, that's when I was like, maybe like, I don't know, maybe I don't have it. Like how were they so much better, you know? So that was tough to swallow for a couple years, and like finally getting that win, it just gave me the confidence. I'm like, dude, I'm back. Like I'm back with the guys that I've been racing my whole year. Like I deserve to be here, and I like belong here, you know?
Yeah. How much did the bike like hold you back though? Do you feel like you haven't really mentioned that at all, but I feel like your group of guys just struggled to make that bike in particular work too.
Yeah. I never want to be the guy that like bashes on a bike, but it's with the gas brands, I think it was nobody outside of the closed doors saw this, but everything that KTM develops, they get. And the whole brand started at Gas as the last year model bike with updated like products and parts and this and that, but it's still last year's frames, so we're gonna be a year behind everybody, and we're gonna catch up or just get the hand-me-down shit. And that's what the brand was, or that's how it started. And then 23 we finally got the new frame, and I thought it was going to be so sick because all of like the problems that KTM and Husky had the year before, they would have it solved for us. So we got on the bike, and I was like, dude, I don't know about this thing, you know? And Justin was struggling with it too, and getting parts and just navigating that brand is like, it's difficult, like really difficult. Like you say one thing to so-and-so, and then it goes to this guy, and then this guy, and then it gets to Pitt, buyer, and then Pitt's like, oh yeah, no, that's not happening. Like you can't get that. And that's one of those things that like we dealt with. So into this last season, I like was in a mindset where I was down for whatever they could give me, you know, like I wasn't going to try to get anything more or push for, say, a fork or shock or this linkage that I wanted, because I knew it was...
You're just pushing shit uphill.
Yeah, like it wasn't going to happen, basically. So all year I was basically on my base shit. Like I started Supercross with a good setting, and then we kind of chased our tail for a couple rounds, and then the last 2 rounds we just went back to base. And then same thing happened in outdoors. And then when we got to Supercross or SuperMotocross, I was in one of those like mindsets where I was like, I'm just gonna run the same thing. Like if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. But like it's so hard getting help down here, you know, like unless you're winning, you're not getting really the perks of the KTM brand, and it's hard to win on that. I don't want to bash on the bike. Like it was a great bike, but it just wasn't the KTM, and it wasn't the Husky that VL and RJ was on.
Yeah, I guess. And so the only reason I knew this is because there's people that were close to you that said to me, dude, wait till Pierce gets on that Star bike. because he's not, that bike that he's on isn't working for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. Because outside in, like, it's very hard to know that.
Yeah,
unless
outside
someone tells you that. And if someone told me that I didn't know and trust, then I just cool.
Well, that's one thing that I believe too, and I had like a couple opportunities to ride the like Star bike like this past year, and I was like, dude, I don't want to.
Nah, you're like, fuck that.
If I
can't
get
do
on
it.
this bike and then get back on my bike, I'm gonna be so bad all year. And Levi helped me out about it a lot. I was asking him, I'm like, dude, how do you make it through like a season knowing that you already have something new lined up for the next year, and the team that you're on knows you're leaving, so they're treating you a little bit different. They say they're not going to, but they're going to. So it's hard. And he was like, dude, like he went through it with Star and the TLD brand, like they were great, but
they're at the mercy of KTM.
Yeah, but exactly. And like towards the end of the season, Ryder and Justin were testing and getting all this like I don't know, getting all this support, and I was just kind of in the background doing my own thing. But I'm like, I don't mind it, dude. Like I've got the setup that I'm on. I'm not gonna change it, so I'm gonna be comfy with it. And that ended up being kind of like the missing link, because every time I went to go change my bike in the past, like it took 2 or 3 weeks to
get used to the change.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
And then I realized there's nothing about it that I like. So I'm going to change it again and then like change it again. So that's another thing nobody sees either. They see Pierce Brown as this guy that had all the talent in the world and went pro and then just didn't make it happen. But it was a rough go for a little bit. Like I had a lot of cards like against me. So I don't know. Once we go blue, I'm excited. Like I said, I believe in that bike, and it's hard not to. So I'm hoping it's as good as I think it is.
Have you ever rode a stock one?
No.
Yeah, they're fucking so good. Yeah,
No.
I've said it so many times on here, and like we're sponsored by Yamaha, but even before that, you can go look at all the clips. I rode, the first time I ever rode one, 2019, Ben Townley's house in New Zealand. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is actually ridiculous.
Really?
And I'm not a great rider, but I just felt so good on that bike, and just like the front end feeling, and just like, I think the new model's really great too, but it's a little bit different. Like the feeling's different. The old bike, bro, would just be like, it would just go like you, wherever you pointed it.
Yeah.
And it never moved sideways. It was just like you were on a fucking rail in a straight line.
Yeah.
Didn't turn as good as what the new one does. But bro, everywhere you pointed the thing, it would just like squat and go, and you couldn't feel anything. It was just like the craziest, most confidence-inspiring bike. It's changed a little bit as it's iterated, but I think they wanted to make more of a tight turning bike, especially for Supercross. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a good stock motorcycle. Like every now and again, like the 07 Honda 450.
Yeah, some
Just like some bikes.
Just click, you know, they get it. And I think, I think a big part of it, obviously I've never ridden it, but the airbox in the front, dude, that has to have so much to do with it, because the airflow you're getting, and it doesn't have to, I don't know, with any other bike, it has to go through the side panel and then through the little holes and then back through the air filter. Like, that's a big part of it too.
Well, and on the Yamahas, even just a normal, like a privateer guy, like Twisted Development, they do a dual injector. So there's literally an injector in the airbox that's fucking squirting fuel. Like every time you crack the throttle, it's just like spitting more fuel. Like there's just, for whatever reason, well, there's a bunch of reasons, but that bike is just a crazy bike to be on.
That's one thing that we did get this past year, the dual injectors, and that helps so much.
Oh, you guys were running that on the...
So much. There was one round, though. It was Unadilla qualifying. I right to the gate, and bike's running fine. Everybody's getting pointed to go start qualifying, and my bike just like starts like sputtering and it won't run. And I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on? So my mechanic like opens the airbox, everything. And then I think the dual injector failed and we just had to run one injector. And I'm like, dude, this bike's like so slow. And like Unadilla is such a fast track. Like, this thing is so like worse than what I've been on. So that was like a eye opener for sure because yeah, our bike's gotten a lot faster and that's been a big part of it too. Like having to ride without it wasn't fun.
Yeah. That's what I didn't know that you guys were doing that. Yeah, I don't run it because I got the 450 and that thing's fucking way too fast for me.
That's plenty of power.
It's insane. But yeah, I've heard they make a pretty massive difference on those bikes.
Yeah, it's big. It's really big.
What about Tallahassee lifestyle? Did you buy a house there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you just full all in, bought a house?
Yeah, all in. I've closed on it last Monday. Dude, I'm stoked. It'll be good. I've been around in that area because
MTF's right there.
Yeah, like 30, 45 minutes away. And we spent so much time in Tallahassee just like on weekends going to the mall and just doing whatever. So I'm familiar with it. Like I'm super stoked. My chick's moving with me and she's from California. So I don't know how she's going to like it. Like it's going to be a culture shock for her. Like I'm so excited to go though. So for me, it'll be good. It'll be a change for her. But yeah, we're going all in. Like I had a conversation with her like mid Supercross season when I didn't have a deal yet, but I was like, if I end up going to Star, like, I'm going to have to move to Florida. That's a given. I'm going to go. So if you want to come with me, like, the offer is there, but I just want you to know no matter what I'm going, if I get that opportunity. And she was like, I'm all in. So I was like, okay, that's our answer. So it'll be good. It'll be good for us. I'm excited.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those things where if you can see what the opportunity is, know what you're in for, and just fucking lock in and grind. You know, like it's honestly just a great place to be. Like you guys don't really know the alternative though, so I think maybe that's what Levi got out of going and working with his dad. Just the alternative is. You go to work every day, you grind 9 to 5, you got a dickhead boss that's talking down to you, and that's life. Yeah. And, you know, even I did the World Vets thing last year, and I kind of took a chance. I took my own chance to be like selfish in that way, 'cause I've never done that shit. I just rode like 4 times a week and didn't really work that much. I pushed all of my work around riding, and it's like, man, that's a pretty epic way to live your life. Like and it's a small window where you get to do it. And I mean, I don't think that there's as many guys now, maybe I'm wrong, that they don't enjoy the training or they don't enjoy the lifestyle that you live. But man, it's like a dream lifestyle for so many people.
It's cool. Like you're doing everything for yourself, which I mean it's hard to do. I know that a lot of like the older guys are having kids now and stuff, and that's changing for them. But at least for me, I wake up, and from the point I wake up till I go to bed, it's all to be better on a dirt bike. And like, it gets like naive at some points, you know, like there's things that I don't want to do that really won't make a change in like the next day or anything like that. But like, I'm so locked in. And almost like we were talking about like a psychopath, like, no, I'm doing this instead of this. Like that is kind of like a balance and like a boundary you need to set and find. But it's so cool, dude. Like doing what we do. Like it's when you step back and look at what we get to do. We get to ride a dirt bike, we get to train, and then just like travel like the country. Like it's so sick. And like, if you're killing it, you get a couple offers to go to Paris or like Australia to like do OzSX. Like that's something like anybody would look forward to. But yeah, just seeing it is hard. Like when you're in it, you're so closed-minded and all you see is the work that you have to do, not that you get to do. So like I was saying, like perspective is reality. But there's definitely times where you take it for granted and you just get kind of upset and just complacent if things aren't going good. Like a lot of people get in that mindset, but that's what makes it so much sweeter about doing good. Like after this win, like before I would have like, dude, I would have been on a bender like all last week and this week. But I was like, no, dude, I'm locked in. Like I could have fun here and there, but I need to stay focused because like I have a big year next year. You know, it could be as good as I'm gonna make it, you know? So yeah, I think getting those wins really, really helps. Some people strive off of like the losses, but like it's the wins for me because they don't come as often. So yeah, it's a cool thing. But no, I was talking to my mechanic about this like the other day. I'm like, do you want to stay in the industry? Like what's your plan? He's like, dude, to be honest, like if I go get a construction job and I'm making solid money, it's guaranteed, but I'm never going to get that feeling of winning a main event, like the rider winning a main event, like that adrenaline or just being on the start is something that you can't replace.
It's hard to get in the outside
you can't
world.
find that really anywhere else, you know? So like, I don't know. It's cool what we get to do. I know a lot of guys take it for granted. I'm guilty of it, but like stepping back and looking big picture, it really makes you appreciate everything, you know?
What was Vegas like after the win?
Dude, it was sick.
Did you tear it up?
Yeah.
That's sick.
I was hurting Sunday, dude. Yeah, we went out after the race. I've never been out in Vegas before. So dude, it was literally a movie for me. Like
Dude,
that night was
especially
insane.
after winning too.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to XS in Encore.
Yeah.
My agent Jacob got us a table, dude. Oh, it was so sick. It was insane. The Chainsmokers were playing.
That's
because they
right,
were saying they were coming on, and I was like, okay, like it's kind of gay, like Chainsmokers. Like I haven't listened to them since I was like 12, and then they came on. I'm like, dude, this is so sick. It was like out of a movie. I was living, and then Phil had that pool party on Sunday that we went to, and I just flew out Monday morning.
How cool is it, the kind of send off that Phil got?
It was sick, dude. Yeah, it was cool. I think it's cool seeing somebody like him that's, dude, he's worked for everything that he's got, like everything that he's got. So seeing him get the support, like, shows that, I mean, if you be yourself and you be you, like, people will see that, you know, and they appreciate that with Phil. Like, he's him. It doesn't try to be anybody else, but there's a lot of guys that are trying to play like this part in this industry that, I don't know, it's hard kind of sniffing out like the real with the fake, but yeah, I think Phil is a product of that. Like he's just him, you know, and everybody just appreciates him, you know?
Yeah, he's such a good example of how you should do a career.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wasn't fake ever.
Yeah.
He didn't say the right things.
Yeah.
He didn't always do the right things.
Yeah.
But he did everything that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He was literally himself, and he was so celebrated. And, you know, you look at AP.
Yeah.
It's like he's having so much fun playing the character of AP that he's created for himself.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't have to do a lot in this industry to stand out.
Yeah.
You know, what you really have to do is just be yourself.
Yeah, you just have to show like a little bit of who you are, you know, like, and so many guys are scared to do that. And it's scary in the sport, dude, because like
It would be for sure.
If you're not killing it, then everybody's looking at you like you're a clown that doesn't take it serious. And I don't know, you have too much other shit going on. So I don't know, you need to balance it for sure. But like, I wish it was like other sports. Like I follow mountain biking a lot. I like skating. I'm not too familiar with like all the skaters, but I just think that sport's sick. And like the lifestyle that they get to live is what brings in their fans, you know? Like we don't get to show our lifestyle as much as we need to or want to, because I don't know, for me at least, like I'm scared of like the backlash that I'd get if I showed myself out on the golf course with my buddies, and then that next weekend I get 10th, you know? Like, I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, even when I was going to the hills a lot, I was hoping more people would appreciate that, but they really didn't, you know? It's more so like you're just
You just got to not give a fuck about those people, though.
Yeah.
Which is easier said than done. But, you know, like, you don't know those people.
Yeah.
those people don't know you.
Yeah.
It's literally just Instagram comments, or it's, if it's people that are around you that you trust, like if Will came to you and was like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You kook.
Yeah.
Listen to Will. You know what I mean? But if he's out there and if he's not out there giving you that feedback, or if TK or if like Levi, like your boys, like people that you actually know, if it's not coming from them.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah, that's the thing.
Really?
You
Do you need to listen to those people?
Yeah, you really don't, like it's when it gets to the people that are, like you're saying, Will and like the TKs, or even other like other teams, like the people that could be a potential like boss to you. Like, I don't know, that's where I get nervous, but I don't know, like I don't realize how cool some people are. Like some people are like Will, dude. Like before I met him, I remember I went out to Coop's after party in Salt Lake City in 2021 when we won that championship.
Oh, yeah.
And it was me, LeBlanc, and then Levi, and we were all like drinking like in the club, and then I see Will, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be working with him in like 2 weeks. So like I put my drink down, and then like I just walked the other way. I was like terrified of him. And then I meet him a week later, and now like I've like built like a friendship and relationship that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. Like he's such a good dude, and like he's not stupid, and like he was like that when he was my age too.
Yeah,
like he was
fucking
just doing dumb shit. Like it's everybody does it, but I don't know, like you're saying, you can't let people like that, or other people that don't have like the I don't know, the say.
Well, they just don't actually know you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, that's one thing I try and keep perspective of in my life is like, who are the people that are talking to me and giving me feedback? Like if my wife says I'm being a fucking idiot, I fully try to listen to that.
Yeah.
Because she actually knows, or my brother, or Steve. Like I've got these people that are in my corner, Jeremy, TK. Like if those guys ever came to me and were like, hey, bro, you're being a bit of a kook.
Yeah.
I'd fully have to listen.
Yeah.
But if it's people that have no idea who I am, they don't know the real story, they're talking about the golf course, but they don't know that you did 100-mile cycle before you played golf. Like, you just really have to pick and choose the people that you're like actually taking criticism and advice from, because it's not warranted from everybody, you know?
And it's big if you do find those people, that's one thing that I've found this year. Like I found, I shouldn't say I found, but I have such a good group around me, and I haven't realized it till this year, because I mean, when you're up, everybody wants you to be their buddy and wants to kick it, this and that. But like,
Once you come on their podcast.
Yeah. When you're getting 10th, dude, like the only people you got are your actual boys, like your family, like, and that's where I was all year. But even the last 2-3 years, after every single race, I'd go back to the hotel with Will. We'd share a room, and we'd just fucking bullshit all night about something completely unrelated about dirt bikes, because like that day didn't really define you as a person. Obviously it sucks, you didn't do good, but I mean, we got next weekend, let's just do our best to do that, or do our best to do our best, And yeah, Will's definitely like a ride or die for sure. I mean, like I said, TK and dude, my mechanic too, Jake, he's been there like from day one. So yeah, I've just had a solid group, and it's cool to see like all of our hard work really like pay off. There's been days that I've doubted it. I'm sure they have too, but I don't know, to see the light at the end of the tunnel it's a good feeling.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. And I think to speak on that whole personality side of things, like, dude, look at what Levi did this year.
Yeah.
Just dyed his hair. That's it. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
And then he came on here and was just like, everyone got to see how like actually cool the guy was, like in that context. But it's like he just decided, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run some weird hair this year. And look at how people responded, like you just don't have to do much.
Yeah.
The bar's so low.
I know.
in
It
this
is. Yeah.
sport.
Just dye your hair, dude.
You just don't have to do much to like show, oh, I'm like actually a real person.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy. I don't know. I wish we had a show, say like Drive to Survive or something like that. They pick like 5 guys and one sleeper guy, say like a Colt Nichols. Like he would be so sick to just follow around and like see his lifestyle. I mean, we don't do much besides ride and train, but he's got such a cool personality and he's such a cool dude.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I'd say 90% of people don't get to see. So I don't know, even guys like Levi, like seeing his personality and seeing guys like that want to show their personality, like you really appreciate that because it's like you said, the bar is so low. Nobody does that. It's big, like when people do.
Yeah, but I definitely think it's getting better. Mm-hmm. I think over the last couple of years, and it's like the more guys that like sort of step outside the box, the easier that it's going to get for the next generation. And you guys, like who was killing it when you were coming up? Like who were the guys you looked up to? Probably Dunge and RV.
Yeah, Dunge and RV, and then. Are you talking about when I was like little?
Yeah,
it was
like when you were a
Dungeon
kid,
RV,
like who were the dudes you were just like, that's my favorite rider?
Ricky and James.
Okay,
They were the guys when I was on like 50s and 60s, and then it was Dungeon RV, and then after that it's been, I don't know, it's been kind of a toss up because I think Jason won that next year, and then it was Coop the year after that. But no, it's kind of cool seeing like how there hasn't been anybody that dominant. I know Jet's coming up and he's going to be really hard to beat, but there hasn't been a guy like a Dunge or say a Ricky or James that have just taken over for like a 4-year span and then quit. So, and that side of it, the sport, I think that helps grow the sport because nobody wants to see the same person win every single time. Like as much as they say they do, like it's not fun watching the same race. You know the outcome too. Yeah,
it's funny. I wonder with that because if you think about when the sport grew the most was probably in the 90s with McGrath.
Yeah.
And it was just one dude. Like you could go to every race and know he was going to win, like almost literally.
Yeah.
And I find it strange with Jet because it just people don't want that same dominance with him.
Yeah.
Like people wanted the McGrath dominance and people lived for it. And then with Jet, everyone's like, fuck that. No, we don't want it. And like to the point where people just refuse to admit how good he actually was, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's like, I feel like no matter who you are, I don't know how McGrath got like all the praise that he did because no matter who you are, if you're winning, there's people out there that hate to see you winning, you know, like they want to see somebody else up there. Like even with Deegan, he has his mafia behind him, but there's a big chunk of guys that don't like him.
Oh,
they don't want to see him. Yeah, it's 50-50, like straight down the middle. So that part of it's like, I don't know. I don't understand either how McGrath went on the run he did. Maybe it was
everyone was just so pumped.
Maybe it was the lifestyle. I think it was the lifestyle they wanted to see because it was different back then. Like it wasn't so much of it was a professional sport for sure, but we weren't training like athletes back then. So like, I don't know. I think it was cool to see like, or watch like Krusty Demons and see like the shit he's doing in Havasu. And then he shows up to A1 and wins. It's like, dude, I like this guy. Like, but you don't see that anymore, you know?
Yeah, well, guys just can't do it.
Yeah.
Like it's just fully, like even after parties just aren't a thing anymore.
No.
Like there used to be literally an after party after every single Supercross.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. It's wild.
I think the Dino Anderson era.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
Yeah.
It sort of stopped.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, nah, we're shutting it down. There's just not a thing. But yeah, like halfway through the night show, everyone would be like, yo, where's the after party at? Where's the after party at tonight?
Yeah.
And everyone knew and everyone went. But yeah, the sport just fully clipped that from the program.
I know, it's crazy. I like just hearing stories like Dino tells me about, I don't know, the shit him and Jason got into. I think it's like, it's so unbelievable to think about that they were doing that and nobody found out about it, you know? Like, it's like, dude, what? Like, that's crazy. But nobody even, like, would try to say book a trip to Cabo on an off weekend and then show up to training Monday. Like nobody does that, but like if you wanted to, you could.
I was surprised to see the video of Deegan in the club after.
Yeah.
Was it Unadilla?
That was.
What race was that after?
It was on the off weekend, the weekend before
was it?
SMX, I think.
I was surprised to see.
Or maybe I'm wrong, but I was too. Yeah.
Oh, were you? Sick.
I mean, I wasn't surprised that he went. I was surprised that
They
the
let
video
it-
got
yeah,
leaked.
Yeah.
And
But
like,
it had to. I don't think it was on the off weekend. Wasn't it right after the weekend that Hymus
maybe it did.
crashed?
Maybe
Do
it
you
was.
remember, Rones? Yeah. I thought it was like kind of in the season. I was like, huh, respect.
It was. Yeah,
Respect.
I was like, yeah, it's kind of sick. Dude, even like,
He got
and
flamed for that, bro.
oh yeah,
I think everyone thought that he would have ordered that bottle to say that, but someone would have been in the club and would have saw him there,
Yeah.
and they would have like sent that out to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he ordered it or what, but I heard like he had a night in Charlotte too.
I
like,
did hear that as well.
I'm like, and he went 1-1 the next weekend. I'm freaking in bed that night, making sure I get 10 hours of sleep because that's gonna affect me on Monday. He's out. I'm like, dude, how could he do that? But I guess.
well,
dude,
I
being
heard
18
he wasn't drinking,
Oh, okay.
so I heard he doesn't drink when he's in there,
Oh, okay. Well, that's.
but he's
smart.
out there doing it.
That's smart. That kind of defeats the purpose. Why even go out? You know.
Well, have you ever heard the stories of like Floyd Mayweather?
No.
So Floyd Mayweather, because boxing you fight at night,
Yeah.
right? And same with SMX. Like you guys are racing late.
Hmm.
You probably should be going out after the races, not just going straight to bed. Really,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe not to the club, but like it's a fucking good place to stay awake real late at night
Yeah.
because you wouldn't want to be priming your body to be in bed half an hour
Mm-hmm.
after a race, right?
I did that before Vegas because the first two were day races. But
Yeah.
the last one, I stayed at the MGM. My chick wanted to gamble, and TK's hit me up to hit blackjack, and I was like, all right, I'll stay out for a little bit, and then I ended up losing 200 quick, but I just like kicked it with
Happens.
my buddies like all night long because I was like, dude, if I don't, I'm gonna have like a hard time staying up tomorrow because dude, my like sleep schedule is so like it's so on lock that like if I'm up to like 11, it's a big night for me, you know. But we're racing. I think our last race was at like 9:30 or something like that on Saturday. So
And you need to be like peak awake then. You don't
Yeah,
you don't
you're-
need to
yeah.
be like winding down.
yeah, and I struggled with that morning too because obviously I want to go straight for coffee, but I'm like, if I have enough coffee before practice, I'm gonna be tired. So I ran no coffee until before the night show. And I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
It was actually the move, I thought.
Yeah, so Floyd Mayweather used to be like peak boxing career, fucking 45-0, making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And he would be in the club all night, but not drinking. And just fucking getting bottles and girls and partying and just sending it, everyone around him. Like he had the whole kind of entourage, just club to club in Vegas. And then 2:00 would come and he'd run to the gym and just do like a full blown workout. And that
No
was
way.
his program. And he wouldn't show the workouts and he wouldn't show the runs. He would just show everyone the party.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, this motherfucker's in the club. He
Yeah.
lives in Vegas. He's just
Yeah.
partying all the time. And yeah, just people would see him out in the streets 3:00 in the morning, just fucking running through Vegas.
That's pretty sick.
I feel like you can do that shit. I mean, drinking sucks. Like drinking's not good for your body. It's not good for your sleep.
Yeah.
If you're drinking, you need to not have shit going on for like the next few days.
Yeah,
Just to recover.
No, yeah. If you're drinking, like if he's drinking, like that's gnarly. I could see him going out and just kicking it, but dude, with me, I don't even know if I like drinking that much. Like I don't drink enough to have like a tolerance. So every time I do, I just freaking die, dude. Like it's bad the next day.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat with you. I can't do that shit.
Yeah. I had a night on like I said, Saturday. I was fine until we were heading to the hotel at like 5:30, and I would just head out the window in the Uber, and my chick's rubbing my back. Dude, it felt worth it, but
Yeah,
no,
you
it's
got to
funny.
do it, dude.
Yeah,
You
no, it
you
was
just
funny.
won $250,000. Like,
Yeah.
It's fine to spend a little on some alcohol.
I did the same thing last year after LA. It was that it was it was a night that night. Me and Nick, we met Mikey and Jason at this one club in LA, and then after there we were like, they said they were like, yo, Nigel's having a party at like this house, and I'm like, Nigel Houston, dude? No way. So we go there. We get there. Nick's puking in the freaking bushes. He don't even make it in. I make it in. I'm freaking spinning. And then right when I get in, I'm like, dude, I got to go. So I grab my chick. We leave. And then, me and Nick were just dying the next morning. But before Saturday night, my chick's like, you got to pull yourself together, Like, you can't drink more than 3 drinks or else you're going to die. And I drank way more than 3 drinks.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with the money? Have you thought about it?
I need a truck.
Mm.
Yeah, my truck's got I've got the same truck from when I turned 16. Has 108,000 miles on it.
What is it?
It's hurting. It's a Chevy Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been with me for a while, but I might get rid of it, get something new.
Don't you guys have a Toyota Escondido deal at Star?
Not anymore. No. Yes, that's a bummer. I was banking on that too.
You thought you were getting that new Tundra, son.
I know, but that or just dump a chunk of it into the house. I think those are the 2 things I might do. I need to figure out what would be best for taxes because, I'm going to be getting hit with taxes this year.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for my dad. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. He knows what's up. What truck would you get?
I don't know. I kind of like the Toyotas.
Yeah.
I might do that or I wouldn't go for a Raptor or anything like that. That's too much. I'd maybe just get a Silverado or something like that. What are they called? Trail Boss. Just black one of those out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah, they're pretty sick, those
Yeah.
things. Yeah, the truck would definitely help you with the taxes. The house probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I could only write off the property taxes and insurance. And the interest and principal just goes to the bank, I can't write any of that off. So I don't know.
What was the Star deal a decent deal money wise for where you're at in your career? What are they? Do they pay well?
So the deal that I got in 22 is actually better than the deal that I signed with. I took a pay cut, not a big one, but I took a pay cut. But I'm I need to do this for myself, It's got incentives in it though. So if I win a race, it goes up, and then 3, it's it skyrockets. So yeah, I think that's how Bobby likes it. He's willing to pay me what I want to get paid, but I just have to perform,
Yeah,
But,
which is fair.
Yeah, but at the time I had no leverage, so I was dude, I'll sign whatever. But of course, the deal with PC was sick too. After I signed the deal, I was damn, that would have been nice. But yeah,
just gotta go win.
Gotta go win.
I bet you're probably glad that you, with everything that you've said over the last few hours, how hard it was, and with gas and then the team, you go into another team and the parts available, and I bet you're glad you did win through all of that. Because when it's not just a win, when you look at what you had to go through to get that win, pretty special to kind of deal with all of that and still break through at the last chance that you got.
Yeah.
And then I feel you really toughed out a situation and made the best of it.
Yeah. It's such a cool feeling. I was saying, I was stoked on the win, but it was more so just doing it for all the people behind me too. Doing it for them, our crew chief Ollie,
He
Frankie.
is a good dude.
Yeah. It's just so sick seeing how stoked they were. And for so long, I don't want to say they gave up on me, but I wasn't in their plans for the next season. So I don't know, just showing them that love. And I think that's the best thank you to them, but moving forward, it's got to scare them a little bit, you know, because I was able to do that on that bike. So, I mean, going to this next bike, I expect to be better. And, yeah, I mean, that's the goal. So it's cool, but it, like I said, it's weird because I went to the shop the other day and I like shook Roger and Ian's hand, said thank you and everything. Ian's a cool dude. Like, I love that guy. He's normally super personal, but like he wasn't as like personable as I thought he would be. Like, he just said thank you, congratulations, and that was it. So I kind of knew where I stood with them, but it's just a weird gray area, like moving teams. After having such a good weekend, you would think they would want to still celebrate and be happy, but there's part of them is carrying, I don't know, like maybe some of the weight of next year. Like, yeah, we're going to be racing him next year, so let's be happy for him now, but like, I don't know, he's not one of us anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I bet that's a real feeling. When do you actually ship out and go to Florida?
So I'm going to Nate Thrasher's wedding in Tennessee the 4th of October, and then I fly from there to Tallahassee on the 6th. So I'll make it out there the 6th, and I think Swanee says from there I have like a week off maybe, and then we're back to it. But yeah, it's a quick turnaround, but I'm excited.
Do you think you'll take the week off, or are you keen to just get in and ride the thing?
Well, I called Jensen. I was like, dude, I want to put at least a day on it on outdoors and then maybe a day on Supercross before we start training, because otherwise their plan is just to go straight to Supercross. And a Supercross on a brand new bike is a little hairy. So I'm going to try to ride a little bit, but it's going to make it tougher on me because that cuts my like off season.
Off time, yeah.
Yeah, by a lot.
Yeah. What did you make of the conversation that the 450 boys had about the 31 races and the season being a bit too long?
I didn't hear about it. Where was it?
Oh, we've at the press conference, the boys, one of the other Nick from Moto Online was just asking. It was Eli, Jet, and Chase, and basically just asking them about the like how long the season is.
Yeah.
And they were just like, they fucking went in, bro. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's good then. That's really good because, I mean, at least...
do you want to listen?
Yeah, let's listen to it.
It's 31 races, but the economics of it, just to play the Feld and MX Sports side,
I was pretty surprised, to be honest.
The huge TV money
I
that
love
came
it,
in,
though.
It was like $7 million or something, was basically like predicated on 31 rounds. And it's something that we've spoken about a bunch of times on the podcast, just trying to brainstorm like ways where it's like, okay, we need to do 31 races to have a season with playoffs. Have you thought about what you could do? Like, even the other day, we were just spitballing ideas of like, maybe you just get 4 rounds throughout the entire year where it's like you drop your worst races. So you get an injury, you have something go wrong, you can take a race off, and you've got 4 of those in your sleeve for the entire season. Like, is there anything creative that you guys have thought about that we could implement? Because I just think the benefits of the 31 races like really are there in terms of like the sport big picture.
Oh, we didn't have to listen to all
Biggest thing you
that.
gotta look, so Chase has done every
I should have
single
told you
round,
to skip that.
and now we're going to a high-speed track where they obviously want to look after our safety very well, and they do, but we're trying to set up a bike that's supposed to handle enough G-force to get to the rhythm lanes, but then it's got to be soft enough for the fast sections, and it can create a lot of sketchy moments of stuff being too stiff, we're on a side note feeling, and stuff like that, and we're at the end of our season, so for stuff, people like me, Eli, guys who've had injuries, it's not too bad because we've had that break, we've had time off where Chase is still
He was
done every
fucking
single
railing
round.
that dude.
So he's obviously, I think anyone would be tired after doing already how many rounds, you know, so I think it's, if we mainly just cut the rounds down, I think it would make it a lot safer for other riders too, because then at least for these last ones,
I love
need the
Joe's
energy,
comment.
You'll have that
Joe's,
because you're not going
straight
through
to it, eh?
how many other rounds before. I think we want to try and do this for a long.
Yeah, for me, I think like he said, it's tough to really put a lot. And after you put so much emphasis on Supercross and Motocross combined, it's hard to rebuild that for these 3 races. So I don't know. It's just tough. I think at the end of the day, it's going to take the top however many 7, 8, 9 riders to come together and to say we're not racing this much. But yeah, at the end of the day, you want the sport to grow. So I see both sides. But as a racer, you don't want to see guys getting injured that you want to race. You want them to be there the whole season. And yeah, it's cool that everyone comes back for these last 3 races. But at the end of the day, like, you want them to be there for both the primary just seasons in general. So yeah, I think there needs to be less races, but we got to have a voice a little bit too. At the end of the day, they kind of control what the narrative is, and we don't really get much say.
Hectic, eh?
I mean, it's hard to say what the magic number is, right? It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, those.
Yeah, that's good.
Year after year after year,
They're
like
honest,
the
though. At least they're not
accumulation,
like, we're fine with
that
it.
becomes the problem, right? Is how many years can you really go? So, I don't know.
A guy like Eli too, like, it's so tough on his body already. I mean, yeah, I mean, we want to see guys like him racing for another few years, but I mean, this is burning him out. And let's talk about Jet, 21 years old. Like, he might not be doing it as long as we think he's doing it because of how long the season is. I mean, he's going to make his money and kind of get out of it like a lot of the guys used to do. Like, James, Ricky.
Yeah, 26, 27.
Yeah, Villo. I don't know. It's tough for me just being a 250 guy. I mean, we're doing half the Supercrosses.
I think you guys did 21 this year all up, I think.
I think it was 24.
24, sorry.
24
Yeah,
total.
yeah.
So that's still 6. No, wait, what's that? I'm not good at math. 7 rounds that we missed.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Dude, it's a long season. Like, I couldn't imagine doing all 17 rounds Supercross, 11 outdoors, 3 SMX. Like, it's too much, dude. It's just too much.
Yeah, I wonder what they can do though. Like, it is a tough, because the pushback that the boys get is, but as soon as like we drop the races, you guys just go to Europe, you go to Australia, you just fly around the country to do it.
Yeah.
Fly around the world to do these extra races. So it's like, is extra races the problem, or you just don't want to do these races? Like, what's the actual deal, you know?
Yeah, I think, dude, what could have been so sick, and I hope it works out, is the World Supercross. Like, if one day that's the primary series and championship, that'll be so cool. I think that might be, I don't know, I've thought about what would make the sport grow the most, and that might be one of the variables that make it grow. Like, I think that, and then maybe like a Drive to Survive has to be done right. Follow top 5 450 guys everywhere from December until May or June, whenever Supercross ends, and you see everything. You go into like the hospital with them, you go to the track with them, you go into the hotel room with them and see everything, and like that would be so big for the sport, I think.
Yeah.
But these 31 races, we're losing so much viewership by the end of outdoors, at least TV wise. Like, I saw a stat that pickleball, like bowling, and like cornhole, all 3 of those have more TV viewers than I want to say Supercross race. Maybe I'm tripping, maybe it's an outdoor race, but still, like, those 3 sports should not have more publicity than what we do. Like, no disrespect to them, but dude, we grind, and like, it needs to be shown to the like mainstream. But I don't know. I think less races would help. I think listening to the riders would help. I mean, they're a huge corporation that is going to be fine with or without us. So I think that's kind of tough. Like, for them, that's a tough spot for them to be in. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was interesting just watching like the fallout from it too. Like you heard about it. Well, I heard about heaps of conversations it had, and like it just started a bunch of shit. And it definitely made me think like why we're scared of the riders speaking out, or why we're scared of that publicity anyway. You know, I definitely got the impression that, and there's 2 sides to every story, right? Like it's not always cut and dry, but the one thing I was like, man, why is it even a problem if the riders aren't, like, if the riders are just expressing their opinions on this?
Yeah.
Like, that made for fucking awesome viewing for people, you know? Like, I mean, that clip has fucking 12,000
Yeah, exactly.
likes on Instagram. You know, like obviously people are interested in the conversations. And if you look at we put that out on YouTube and it got like 100,000 views and there was so many comments and it's like 50-50 in the comments.
Yeah.
There's people that are like, well, I work fucking 48 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have to work 31. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. And,
Yeah.
you know, people are divided on it. So it's not like everyone's just agreeing with exactly what the writers say anyway, you know. But to me, even just the fact that we got to hear what those guys really thought, like I kind of just enjoyed that as well.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's like good that they're speaking out on it. I think that's like that's how we change or make a change to what we're doing and actually grow the sport to like what I believe it should be. But yeah, like those dudes commenting, like I would put money on them not watching every single round of outdoors and Supercross and SMX. Like they're on the boat Sunday, like doing whatever. Like they
catching it on TiVo.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like,
well, no one uses TiVo anymore, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like what you used to record shit on, and then you'd like set it to record, and then you'd go back into your TiVo.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's true. I feel like I wish the World Supercross thing is like funny. You mentioned that. I feel like that's what SMX could be.
Think so?
In a way, like imagine you do like the Australian Supercross, right? Is in the biggest stadium in Australia. I think it's like 70 or 80,000 capacity, and they've sold it out. It's fucking huge, bro. It's going to be epic. So you got Jet going, Hunter's going, Cooper Webb's going, all the Aussie guys that rip there. Then you'll have like the World Supercross kind of. Oh no, it's different. It's completely separate from that this year, actually. But you're going to have a full grid of like really good riders. I mean, I wish Feld would go to those promoters and be like, hey, let's make this round 1 of that. And then Bursey, let's make that round 5 of the World Supercross. And then you do 3 in the US. And you know, like that, I actually think that could work fucking crazy good. And then you're kind of giving people the best of both worlds. Like you get to travel, you're taking the sport to different places. Like, bro, there's 4 manufacturers in our series that are from Japan.
Yeah.
I've been to some crazy events in Japan. Like I went, Joe actually put up a video on Instagram from the weekend of the music over it was this band 1OK Rock. They're like this huge Japanese rock band.
Yeah.
I went to a fucking show of them.
No way.
Bro, in an airplane hangar. They reckon there was 120,000 people there. So like imagine doing Tokyo is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. Like imagine Tokyo, Mexico City, Brazil. Like Brazil is our second biggest country.
Really?
Of viewership. And we're in a different fucking language.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
That would be huge.
I think that would be a way that you could get riders really on board with this, because then you really are growing the sport. Like you're taking it to these different properties. You know?
Are you saying like have the tracks built like SuperMotocross tracks, or just have a Supercross at different venues like across the world?
Well, I just think for the SMX round, like I wonder if you took out a couple in America in the regular season, and then you maybe take away like 1 outdoor, and then you do 5 rounds of SMX, so the playoffs becomes like a bigger series. Because I think that's the other thing that probably pissed Feld off is Chase saying that that's not the primary series. Like they really want this to be the primary series. So imagine if you have 5 or 6 rounds as the SMX playoff, way harder to win, like way more of a series, and then it's like one's in Australia. They already do the Supercross in Paris. So like you just kind of link it up so it goes into those races. And I mean, imagine if there was a way that you could have the Europe guys qualify. So like still do it with no whoops. Still do it to where it's like those guys could actually.
Yeah, that would be legit.
Imagine them bringing like, you get Hurlings bringing a semi-moto setup to it, and you're like, it's not full Supercross. It's
That would be so gnarly. Do you remember when they did that one arena? It was in a stadium, but it was a full sand track.
Someone brought this up to me the other day. Can you? I think, Duffy talked about this. Can you try and find that?
Dude, it was so sick.
Where
Dungy
was
went, Hurlings went. I can't remember.
Where was it?
Dude.
Yeah, Tim was on a Honda and he was doing just yes. I don't know. Let's have. This could be it. We might have found it. The SMX Cup. Dude, it was even called the SMX Cup. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, this is it.
Is this it?
This is it.
Turn it up. Oh, that's Fevre. I remember this, bro. Guys' quali lap was ridiculous.
I did not know it was the SMX Cup. That's crazy.
How wild is that? So, yeah, this is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, dude, it was so sick. Yeah, no whoops.
So, what's wrong with us doing this?
Exactly. Like this section, like a full sand section. And it's legit sand, too, not like the shit that we have.
Full sand. Look at the roots coming off that thing.
Dude, and I love
paddle.
the tough blocks, too. They look so clean and so much better than like what we run.
Look at this motherfucker.
Yeah, this lap is sick.
So, if you want to make SMX a real thing that everyone's on board, this.
Yeah.
Round in Australia, round in Japan, 2 rounds in 2 rounds in the US, and then in Paris or something. Finish it in Vegas. Because even just like all the Euro dudes want to come and race this. And if you make it to be the kind of track that they can. And then, dude, imagine like you have to come and do an outdoor and you have to, there'd have to be a qualifying system, like a way for the Euros to get into it.
Yeah.
And then you'd have some of those guys coming to do a couple of races here.
I know, holy shit.
See a berm.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like you're saying, we go over and race like one round there just to qualify, or they do that.
They'd have to come here.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way that you guys would be allowed to go there.
Yeah, true.
Dude, Geyser sends I feel like Geyser could race Supercross here.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember when he raced Monster Cup?
Yeah.
Didn't he crash really bad? Yeah.
Fully
Dude, even like
ripping.
watching Prado ride Supercross, he was so gnarly just for like, I know he rode a little bit because I met him back in 2016. He came to ride the TLD bike and was the rumor was he was going to race Supercross here before he even went on the run he did in Europe.
Yeah.
But he had a little bit of Supercross experience, but not much at all. Like, hasn't really hit whoops that much. And he came over here and like, from day one, he was sending.
Really?
Yeah,
Even back
hitting
then?
the gnarliest whoops on a 450 and just committing crazy. He would crash every once in a while, but he would just get back up and nothing would phase him, dude. Like, he'd have the gnarliest hits and just get back up and just keep on going. Like, yeah, some of those guys, like, I think it would be cool seeing some of those guys come over here, but then vice versa, they're taking our jobs, Like,
yeah.
It's cool racing someone like VL because I was following him when he was winning in Europe, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, like, it would be so much easier if he wasn't here, Like, I could be one spot up,
Oh, that's so funny. So you want to shout out your crew on what's the game you're playing?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Reaper Doc. He just dropped a track a couple days ago, and it's called, I forget what it's called. Something Alive, but yeah, it's sick. He has like a banner of me and then AP and then Justin Bogle. Yeah, on all 3 tracks. But yeah, I've been playing with him, so it's cool. He's got like a full mafia of MX bikes dudes that are like.
So that's what's called MX bikes.
Yeah.
So what? It's just like a game.
It's like MX Sim kind of, but it's more like arcade-ish. Like you could, you don't have to be as precise. Like you could pick it up today and learn how to play. Where sim, you'd need like a week of playing before you make like a lap. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
It's that hard.
Yeah. Sim's hard, dude.
No shit. So
Yeah.
Alex rips on sim, eh? Who is Alex the better out of you guys? Okay.
Sim is gnarly, dude. I played for a little bit, but could never really like get good at it, so I just gave up on it. But I would play with like Levi and like
Is there MX Bike gameplay on YouTube?
oh yeah, there's gotta be.
Show us. Have you got any on there?
I don't got any. Yeah, just look up MX bikes. Dude, and some of this shit, it's so crazy, the graphics. Yeah, this is the track.
Oh, this is the one that they just released.
Yeah. You got Packing Mage banners.
That's so sick.
So sick.
All the boys are. That's
Yeah.
your Dirt Studios tee. I actually got that in the mail the other
Oh,
day.
you did? No way. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Thank you.
I'm stoked on that. I haven't busted it out of the packet yet, but I might need to.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out Donnie too.
How good is he, man?
Dude, he's so cool.
He's so. Just mute that if you want, Rones. He's so like in the shadows.
Yeah.
That's it's like another thing that's cool about that brand is like he doesn't do it for like his own clout.
Yeah, I
you know, which at this point he probably could, but it's like
100%.
he's so behind the scenes and so like committed to the details.
Yeah,
and
but like nobody really knows like who Donnie is. You know, like Michael Antonovich came over to my semi like before one of the mains, and he was like, "Hey, dude, do you have Donnie's number? Like, I need it for A-Stars." I'm like, "Yeah, here you go." But like, there's only like a select few people that like actually know who he is. So like, it's hard kind of finding him. But I think it's cool. Like that's, that's how like he really. That's how you know he really cares about his product and like really takes every detail into like perspective. You know?
Yeah.
But no, the shit he makes is sick. Yeah, I'm wearing the wear testing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting to work with him too, it was cool. I've always wanted to do something like that, but I don't want to just throw like a photo of me, throw it a whip, and then my name on it like a t-shirt. Like I want to wear something that I would wear. And I'm such a big fan of like his stuff. So getting to work with him was cool, and making something that I like really believe in was fun. But yeah, if you have about a t-shirt and you listen to this,
go to the website. Let's find one actually.
Yeah.
So, are you a big Mac Miller fan?
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Yeah, I thought it was.
Is it on Dirt Studios?
Yeah, I think it's under
collabs. Yeah.
collaborations.
There you go.
Wait, no partnerships. Yeah, right there.
Bang.
There
yeah,
you go.
Mac Miller, one of my favorite artists.
Yeah,
So
you're a fan too.
I saw the tee and I was like, damn, dude, this is a really great idea.
Thank you, man. Yeah, he's Max the GOAT for sure. But yeah, that was cool.
He's still heavy in the rotation.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite song?
Woods.
Yeah, Woods is good.
Yeah. I feel like we had. You remember that drive we had, Rones, when we were in Melbourne I think we were there for Supercross the last time, and we were like driving through that. We were literally driving through the woods, and that song come on. I think I
so
just
good,
smoked
dude.
a joint,
Yeah.
and I was like, bro, this is the best Mac Miller song.
Yeah.
And I like Buttons as well.
Buttons is good.
Buttons is another good one. My ex-girlfriend, we broke up, and she was living in my apartment for like months, and I was living in my studio, and I was literally sleeping on the studio I was sleeping on the couch in my studio.
No
and
way.
it's literally a line in that song. I was on the studio all night last night. I slept on the couch.
Yeah,
and it was just that song was like
just resonated.
that was like a moment in my life.
That's sick. Yeah, I love Mac. Like,
What's yours?
I like Ascension really, really. Yeah, I like Ascension a lot, and then Perfect Circle's good.
Yeah.
His whole swimming album's sick. But I like Woods too. Woods is good. And then there's another one that dude, I forget. It's Blue World. Blue World's good. Yeah.
There's a sick live version of Dunno on Spotify.
Dude, and there's a live version of Objects in the Mirror too.
Yep.
Have you seen that one?
Yep,
It's
yep.
so good, dude.
Yeah, some of his live stuff is better than the
Yeah.
recorded shit. Like, the live recording of Dunno is better than the
yeah.
song.
Yeah,
by
are you
far.
talking about like the 20-minute long one where he plays like a couple songs on the album?
Are you the Tiny Desk?
Tiny Desk.
That's what. Nah, if you go to my Spotify, Rones, and we'll just have to cut this bit out. But there's a really good live version. If you just type in Dunno, it should come up.
Oh, really?
But it's just, I think it was like a Spotify session or something, because I don't know if it's anywhere else. If you play, yeah, that second one.
Oh, no way.
This is better than the actual version.
His voice is so good, dude.
Fucking
insane.
crazy good.
Oh,
Yeah, well, pause that. Yeah, listen to that on the
Yeah,
drive home.
I will.
But it's fucking unreal.
I will.
Who else are you into?
I'm into a lot of guys. Like, I'm getting more into house and EDM and that stuff just because like there hasn't been much like rap out lately. I'm a big Drake guy.
Yeah.
He
got bodied though.
Oh, he did. I just don't know if I agree. I don't want to agree.
I know.
I don't want to agree.
Anna was the same. She's
Yeah.
a big Drake fan. She's like, who the fuck listens to Kendrick?
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
like, it's kind of not the point.
Yeah,
He just ruined him.
literally. But J. Cole's good too.
Yeah.
Shit. What else? Who do you listen to?
Oh man, a lot.
What genre? What's your genre? Is it
A
rap
lot.
or is it everything?
Pretty much everything. I'm getting way more into country.
Really?
I don't know if I'm getting. It's just because I'm
Dude,
getting
have
old.
you heard Post Malone's new album?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
good.
Zach Bryan, big Zach Bryan fan.
Dude,
And
I went and saw him live. And
Really?
I went and saw him live over New Year's. It was the best show I've ever been to.
Where was it?
It was in it was at Petco, San Diego.
No shit.
Yeah, on New Year's.
Huh.
Like you're saying that is the best. That's the live version's better than the real version. Like his whole show was better than any song he has on Apple Music or Spotify. It was so sick, dude. It was
Wow.
insane.
That's
But,
unreal. Yeah, I really want
I
to
recommend going to see him.
Have you heard of Ben Barber?
Mm.
Yeah, so he's like my new Zach Bryan.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a song called Straight and Narrow that just fucking gets you.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, when you said that early 2000s is like the best era.
Oh, yeah.
Best era for music too.
Oh, 100%.
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
System of a Down.
Yeah.
Who else? You had like Limp Bizkit, Eminem, Dr. Dre. Like
Yeah.
that early 2000s, I'm still kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
But like Linkin Park's easily my favorite band. And I've seen them live, 15, 20.
That would be sick.
He's like,
Yeah.
saw them so much.
Yeah.
And then AFI, don't know if you ever got into them.
Oh, no.
Oh, bro.
AFI?
AFI. You would have heard like, you know that song Miss Murder? Like they had
Oh,
a,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
them.
back in the day, they were like a fucking hardcore punk band.
Really?
And they just had some sick shit.
Yeah. Do you like Blink 182?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I grew up on like Linkin Park, and my dad like never liked Blink 182, but I got into like Blink 182, and then my first I love Kanye too. My first song was like Power. That was like the first song that got me into rap pretty much.
Yeah.
I'd fucking learned that. I was bumping that on the way to like 4th grade. And then I got into like Kanye for a little bit. Obviously Drake. I've been a Drake fan.
Yeah,
Love Lil Wayne.
Drake's just so
good.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. He's the male Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
You know, just the guy just can make hit after hit after hit. And I feel like with Drake, if you're a young male dude that's getting after it and trying,
you can relate so much.
he just fucking makes the soundtrack. There's so many times where I'm just driving by myself and I'm just thinking about work and I'm just so in that mode of just I'm grinding and I'm trying to make shit happen. I'm trying to make deals happen and
dude, like my
all the
song,
above, you know.
I got really big into ice baths this year, and my song was 5 a.m. in Toronto. I would just play that, and then as soon as it was over, I'd get out. But it got me through the whole song.
Oh, when you're doing the ice bath thing?
Yeah.
Are you doing them every day? When you're training?
Not as much. Just like, well, Will, and he got cold onto it too. They do it every single morning. Yeah, every single morning. And because I have a little rubber blow up one, so I have to refill it with ice every time, which is a mission. So I'll do that after like a big day of training. So probably like 2 times a week max. But
should get one of those. Did you remember the brand that Berriman's got at his house? Have you seen? You can get these kind of like semi-permanent ones, and they can you just look it up? Yeah, try and find it because Berriman has one. Dude, he does them pretty much every day. He's a savage, bro.
I would picture that. That's sick,
bro. Berriman is a full-blown savage. He has like, you know, those dudes that just have that gear in their brain. He's got that gear. Yeah. Like we went mountain biking the other day, and he's on an e-bike. And he borrowed Twitch's bike so that we could ride his bike and his bikes. And he didn't have the battery in the derailleur because he's got like one of the electric ones. Yeah. So it was stuck on like the 3rd lowest cog. And he fucking sent a 20-mile ride with this, bro.
No way.
And like pushed and ran up the hill. And I'm just like, nah, man, like that ain't me.
Yeah,
I'm out. I'm going home. I'm getting the battery and I'm coming back and I'm enjoying the ride. And but he's just like that with everything. Same deal, ice bath. So he's got like the sickest setup in the backyard. He's got like the little zen zone, and he's got the big barrel sauna.
Dude, that
and then
thing's sick.
Yeah, this thing. So they're called Edge Theory, but it's like semi-permanent, you know. So you can and you can like pack that thing up and like kind of travel with.
Dude, I'm
not
actually
taking
gonna
it on a
buy one
flight.
of those.
Yeah, that's the one, bro.
Yeah, that looks sick.
And yeah, you set the temperature that it's at.
Yeah.
So I think he runs it at like 48 degrees. And yeah, he's in that thing pretty much every single day.
That's sick. Yeah.
But he's, you know, the people that get in and they're like, he's just so fucking chill doing it. And I think there's obviously like a lot of science behind, there's mixed science behind it. But I think just mentally, dude, like to be able to mentally commit to that shit and breathe through it, I think it's worth the benefits just because of that, you know?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Like if I feel anxious one day or if I have like I don't know, just I get kind of like anxiety flashes like every once in a while. And every time I get one of those, it's either like a cold shower or an ice bath. And after that, I'm fine. You know, like that's the only thing that at least I've done and found that works. But like, yeah, for your head, like it's so good. It's just as good for your body too. But like I said, I need to do it more. I only do it when I like truly need to. But yeah, they're good for you. Really good.
I think probably just going to Florida, like I think the heat, you're probably going to like it a bit more there. But I don't know. What was the deal here? Did you own a house here? Or
no, I just rented a place. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Florida will probably be a good chance for you to just like set some shit up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like build a zone that you really want to be in.
Yeah. Finally have like something like stability almost in a sense. Like I didn't want to do anything to the house that I'm at. Like I just had some turf in the backyard with some cornhole tables or boards and then like the blow-up ice bath in the middle. But with the new place, I want to just like dedicate one room to a full workout room, and it has a little balcony on it. So I wanted to throw one of those on the balcony, and I felt like that would be cool. And then, yeah, like you're saying, just get set up. Like I'm so tired of moving in and out of places and not being like set up. So it's gonna feel like really good to have a spot for like a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you got a good opportunity right now to, you know, new team, bought your own place. You can kind of do what you want to do. Like I feel like you're in that space now where you can like really build your environment around you. And I'm excited for you next year, man. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
We just did over 3 hours.
Holy shit.
Went by quick.
Yeah, that did.
Let's try and beat some traffic. Any thank you, shout outs, anything you want to say before we wrap this thing up?
thank you to everybody at the TLD Gas team, TK especially, believed in me since day one. Could not have done it or been here without him, and then Will Hahn, obviously, my mom and dad, and everybody who's been a part of it. It's been a fun journey so far, but we're not done yet. So we're gonna keep going. Next year's gonna be a good year, but thank you to everybody.
No worries. Pierce Brown, everybody, we did it, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No worries, brother.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.